Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk,
Talkin.
where we have the unfiltered, uncensored, uncomfortable conversation. All right. All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. We got Quan putting on his glasses.
What's up, everybody? What's up?
All right. We got Portia. And we got Derek.
What's good, everybody?
All right, man. It's been a very interesting week. Some things have happened with me, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. But anything with y'all, man? Anything music related, band related that's happened this past week? You already know how we do. That's how we start off. So, what you got for me, Quan?
In HISD, we're still getting ready to for graduation and whatnot. But I also am getting ready for. I'm excited about a conductor's workshop in Austin, Texas, with Dr. Latoya Webb. That's going to be June 12th through 16th. I'm excited about it. I have my scores, so we real music educators want to get better. Mozart, Igor Stravinsky, Franz Krummer, and Summer Strauss. Carmen the Passion, we have all different genres. I got to start score studying and getting prepared. So I'm excited about that. Shout out to what she's doing in the UT Austin area.
All right, cool. Portia, what you got?
I don't have anything. I haven't really done anything music related since we last met. So,
how about anything just Portia related?
It's audition time. My chapter's turning 60 in December, so I'm chairing that committee. It's a lot going on, and we're doing a kickoff brunch at homecoming, so I'm here, there, everywhere, all over the place. So finishing up Silket stuff, doing Zeta stuff, and it never stops. I took off from school for the summer, but there's always work to be done.
Okay, and the Silket stuff is still related. That's still work.
Yeah, that's part of my job though. So yeah, but yeah, that's it.
All right, Derek, what you got for us, bro?
Not too much, man. My high school band, we wrapped up our last marching band performance with our Memorial Day parade. A lot of people don't know that the Portsmouth Memorial Day parade is the longest running Memorial Day parade in the country. A lot of people don't know that. But yeah, we wrapped it up, man. I wanted to shout out to my students, man. A lot of people, have heard of or know IC Northam's band. We had a really small year this year, man. I just want to shout out to the students, man, for the heart that they showed the whole year, man. It's hard to stick in a program when it's your first year in a program and you're the only person in the section, But they stuck with it. I'm so proud of the improvement that they made. So if they ever watch this, shout out to them. I'm really proud of them, man. So
definitely, man, definitely. And I've had students who've had to deal with that same thing, and I understand. I've had to, it's crazy to go through that situation because I had to have pep talks with him every day. Like, man, you got this, bro. Like, you can get through it, man. It's all right. Just hold on. You know, if you need, it's been a couple times I had to pull out the horn and you know, play with him. So I understand what that child is going through, and I understand the situation, bro. So big ups to you. And that Memorial Day, I had absolutely no idea about that. And seeing as I was in, you know, the Virginia area for 10 plus years or 9 plus, I don't remember how long I was there now. But you know, that's something I just never knew. So you just hit me to some new information. So appreciate it, bro. I do want to give a shout out very quickly to I saw Killer Kev doing a live battle that happened today. And it was in Michigan. And I know I saw Osborne, but I didn't know what the other school was. It really was like a little small band battle. And I thought it was pretty dope, man. Like I said, I don't know what all the other schools were, but I know that the groups are really small. But they were doing, you know, doing their best and putting it out there and leaving it all out on the floor, man. So I definitely wanted to give a shout out to that. That to give a shout out to that performance and Killer Kev for putting that on. All right, man. Let's go ahead and do this, man. So today is very interesting, and the only reason why it's interesting is because more recently, I mean, you guys know mass bands coming up, and I got questions, right? Because real talk, I'm just gonna be super honest, right? And this, I guess, is my time to be like transparent. I'm old, and I accept the fact that I'm old, and it's okay that I'm old, right? So I'm super disassociated from that world, from that culture. When we and we've kind of dabbled into it, but we've never really had true conversations. Like, never really got into it. And so I have questions. Hopefully today we can get some answers, we can get some opinions, and you know, we can go from there. Cause I'm old. And I, like I said, I accept it. And I know it seems funny, but I just accept the fact that I was born in a specific time. I I was in school in the 90s, and it's okay. And I accept that, you know. So today is question and answer day. Um, One of the reasons why we have Derek on the show today, because he can kind of give me a little bit of insight on his views, and also you know, the starting of the Virginia Mass Band. And so that's what we're here today for. So I really am getting into this, and I really hope it's going to be great, because I just want some of these questions answered, and I know Quan may have a lot more insight than I do. Um, just a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and start it off the right way. All right, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, and music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like daddy as soon as you walk into the room. Don't even wait. Jamar, you smashed it like daddy too. I know mine ain't here, but you still smashed it like daddy. I saw what you put in there. Go Power Rangers. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up tomorrow on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Real Talk That Talk, except for Apple Podcasts, where you can just type in Talk That Talk. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. Let me answer that real quick. Brother Dotson, I did reach out to some mass band folk, as a matter of fact. You know, now, did they respond? You know, so you know, if they come in, I did leave a link for a couple of them to be able to come in. But you know, I'm going to rock with the people who are here. And I'm gonna say this too: if you're in the comment section today, and you do have a response, or you do have some thoughts on any of this, and you are in that culture, I'm actually open it up a little early so that you guys can come in and chop it up, because it's good to be able to get these conversations out. The one thing that I don't want anybody who comes in here to think is that we are an echo chamber, right? We are not a group think situation. I want to be able to put all things on the table and have the conversations about it. So if you're out there in the comment section, man, and you're listening, if you're listening live on YouTube or Facebook, man, and you want to get in on that conversation, man, I will open the phone line up for that. All right. So,
quick shout out to Portia Silk Press. All right, keep going.
But see, that was Jamar's fault because Jamar said
he put it out there. I'm just saying. Shout out to Silk Press.
I don't know what you're saying. Smiths.
I just want to say it's a wig. I put it on right before this, and when we get off here, I'm gonna snatch it off and look like Cleo. I walk around here thug life all day while I'm working. I just do this for y'all. It's literally a wig. But thank you. I'm glad I paid good money for it. So
you know what's crazy? If you hadn't said that, nobody would have ever known.
Nobody would have known, bro.
But I want people to find, good wigs because it can get you compliments if you invest in them. I have hair, but
well, shout out to my goddaughter. She make wigs, so hey.
See,
I'll talk about that in a second.
I'm just gonna be quite honest.
Y'all know we honest and upfront around here. Jamar, no,
but
y'all
know. I mean, no, absolutely. I've just never. That's just never been my stilo. The wigs and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, but I mean, if that's how you rock, that's how you rock. I thought it was great. Like I said, I didn't even know if you hadn't said nothing. Hey, I would have been right along with it. All right, man. Let's go ahead and do this, man. I'm gonna get to the first question right off top, man. What is the history of mass band? What is the history of mass band? All right, now if you don't have the actual history, it's okay. But then I would actually move more towards what would be when you heard about mass band and what was your discovery of mass band. All right, Derek, go ahead, brother.
So I mean, I don't know who can actually give you a factual answer for that because I doubt that it was documented. But I mean, we could trace back to let's talk about in Georgia, man. Before it was called a mass band, there were Allstar Bands, whether they were high school unit. Mostly it was high school Allstar Bands. I don't think the adult thing started coming until a little later. But for the most part, I started seeing a lot of, and they have groups like in Richmond, Virginia, the Richmond All Stars. They combine groups together, man. I think that's, for me, it's more of a show of unity in your region. I think that's where it started from. That's my theory, though. I can't, like I said, I can't give you a concrete answer. But from the high schools, it started. The adult thing, I think that's more so the last decade that we've had quote unquote mass bands where you have high school students playing with college students playing with people that have graduated many years ago. I think that's a new thing. It used to, like I said, from my memory, it was just high schools at first. The colleges, man. When did I mean, probably early two. I'm taking that. I'm taking that out of context. You all remember CSRA? Yeah, remember that All-Star Band in Georgia? You can look up videos from them. It's probably early 2000s. But I remember they were a All-Star Band in Augusta, but they had college students and high school students in that group too. So I don't know, man, but I'm gonna go with my answer. I'm gonna say it started with high schools trying to show unity, some camaraderie between the different schools in the area, man. Now, what it is now, it's a little different, but I guess we're gonna evolve to that as we go through the questions.
And I'm gonna be honest. Once again, you can't ask me about something that came around because I'm old. If it didn't happen in the 90s, maybe early 2000, like 2001, it's tight. I have absolutely no answer for you.
We need a historian, man. That's what it is.
Hey, man, I mean, the knowledge that I have is only goes so far. All right, Portia, what about you? What is the history of mass band?
This is a new thing for me. Like, I think we saw some of it like when this happened the year before I got to the Legion. There was like an all-star thing that some people went to in Florida. When we went to Honda, I think it was some kind of group play of all the bands playing the same song and stuff like that. That's the only exposure I had to it before recently. And I'm gonna say, Derek, you mentioned Richmond. I'm from Richmond. When I was in high school, we ain't had it. So this is all new. But to Julian's point, we're old. We didn't have that when I was. But I think part of that might have been Jamar put in the comments that schools are closer. It was no way at that time that my high school was gonna play next to people from some of our rival high schools, like Highland Springs. It was a no-go. That wasn't gonna happen. So I don't know. We didn't have that. I didn't hear about like this existence of like huge citywide mass bands to like the last 2 years or so, or 3 years or so. I didn't have a lot of knowledge about those. And even then, when I found out that it was like 40-year-old men in there, I was like, so this is interesting. I mean, I understand, college students wanted to play over the summer, play some different types of music, different styles, different from their program. I even understand the high school students, maybe playing next to somebody who's a little bit better than you, learning from other people. I got that, but right now I wouldn't go near it for what I'm tired. I don't want to do it. No. So I guess that's what I know about it, that to me, it's become more popular in the last decade or so. But even when we was in school, I didn't know anything about it outside of group performances at like big battles or stuff like that. So
and just to kind of piggyback off of something that you just said, Portia, I remember back when it kind of hit Texas, and it was an all-star. It was called Allstar Band, and I remember like it was this Hispanic kid who went to Booker T. Washington, and he was a screamer. Like he was pretty dope. But I just remember like I didn't want to play next to him because I was like, no, because I have a rival with you. I don't want to be next to you. Like it's nothing personal. I don't, now when we get on the college level, that's a different scenario. But I guess for me, I just had that much pride in my school to where I just didn't want to march next to somebody else and be cranking up with somebody else. Now that was just me when I was in high school. Now there was a whole another situation where my band director was like, yo, y'all not going to be in my band and march in the All-Star Band. So that was a whole nother situation. Quan, what you got?
So I'm gonna just give my experience and what I know, of course. Like I say, like Julian say, if you have information, speak on it. So for me, I think it was around 1999 in New Orleans. They used to have like a football game, and it was called New Orleans Public Schools. I think New Orleans Public School All-Star Band. No, I saw them. It was like around 99. Now, I don't know if they had performances prior to, but it was honestly for me, it was great because all they did was they literally put on their band uniforms. So you see like a sea of color, and they were playing like the same songs or whatever. Of course, in Louisiana, we still have fiberglass tubas. So you still see the white horses, from the side. I mean, it was dope. Of course, I didn't participate in the band at that time, but my brother did. So, like just looking at that, like when they had all the drum majors from the different schools, it was something that was live. And that was around 1999. Now, excuse me, when I got a little bit older, and then I learned of what was called LLI. In my opinion, at the time, New Orleans Public Schools, that was an all-star band because it was just high school, right? And from my knowledge, you had to like really audition. You had to be like a section leader and go through that process. And you truly learn great pedagogy from those instructors, right? Just high school. When I discovered LLI, it was a similar process. Now, later when you have alumni bands, that's new to me. That's around the time frame of when right before I graduated from college at PV. That's when you started to see more of alumni. So your like Houston United mass bands and different things like that, because like Julian stated, it was like Greater Houston All-Star. That was it. And it was just high school students. So that was my first overall experience, like I say, in Louisiana. Was the public school aspect, which it was just, the schools in New Orleans, and then me looking at LLI. And I must say, for me, I wish things would go back to that realm, in my opinion, where it's just high school. Reason why is because you want those high school students to take things back that's positive to your respective schools. And we just gonna keep it a buck because we're honest. There's certain things, real talk, that go on in mass band that some of our students shouldn't be seeing. And when they come back, it's an issue, or allegedly people was doing this and doing that. And Julian, I don't know if we're gonna get into that later, but that's my only gripe, because as a band director, you have to realize that you are the protector of your brand, you're the protector of your program, you're a father to some of those children who don't have father figures. So at all times, seen and unseen, you have to be mindful and cognizant of who you're putting your respected child, band child, in front of at all times. And I think that's the only, from Quan, that's the only gripe that I've been having overall. And honestly, it's not just me. It's other directors have stated that not just in Texas or Houston, but around, honestly, the country, has been their only apprehension about their students participating in quote unquote mass band.
Yeah, I share that same sentiment. Even up here in Virginia, when we had tried to start in previous years, college students develop vices that high school students shouldn't be exposed to. You see friends that may have graduated 2 or 3 years ago out at practice smoking a black. I'm just talking about even the most legal thing I could talk about, a black and mild or something like that. At practice, that's a bad influence on the kids. Next thing you know, they're like, oh, these are our upperclassmen, or once were our upperclassmen, and they'll try to follow suit. They'll see a lack of discipline because now the college kids feel like they all big and bad. It's it's a power struggle there sometimes, and it's two different worlds. You got these adults, these are young adults, they're adults, and then you got these teenagers. They haven't broken that threshold yet, and I don't think that's the environment for them to break that threshold either. But that does happen a lot. That was, I know, in previous years for the Virginia thing, I had some students that had told me some reports. Like, I let them go just to see what it was. And sometimes I would even drive by to see what it was, and I would see these acts going on just in rehearsal. Like, I'm talking about somebody with an instrument in their hand smoking, or somebody with an instrument in their hand drinking, in front of teenagers, around teenagers at that, So I think that's a problem for anybody that's trying to have that situation. If you don't establish strict rules and regulations against that behavior at rehearsal, you're always going to run to that, and no director is going to support their children, support their students going to an ensemble like that.
And also, I've seen it, just being honest, I've seen it, and this is not one particular program, so I want to be, mindful of this comment. And I've seen this not just at one All-Star or Mass program, but I've seen this at several, because I've been around several. Some of that, honestly, with them upperclassmen, they use that as pre-grounds to glazing. Like, we just don't keep, like, be honest. It's like, oh, what school you going to? Oh, he coming here? Oh, that's a bet. Hey, you know what's gonna happen to you, right? And the kids is like, bro, like, I'm still in high school, bro. Like let that man make it. You feel what I'm saying? Like teach him proper techniques of why he or she is here, man. Like, you shouldn't even be concerned with that. And I remember when I was just about to graduate, and boys was talking again. This is not one particular program, so I'm not pointing anybody out. But I was literally there, like, yeah, bro, I'm kind of feeling uncomfortable, bro. I'm about to go to my house. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, what we doing is unnecessary. You know what I'm saying here? Like, this is supposed to be a program that uplifts the community. And like many people have stated who love All-Star Band or Mass Band, to keep the kids out the streets. Some of these cities, murder rates are peaking, and then summertime, y'all know, violence and whatnot in our community goes up because the kids they don't have nothing to do. So you want them to do something positive. So with that being said, they shouldn't come there and then be afraid like, yeah, bro, somebody gonna glaze me today at practice because I said or I spoke interest about attending their college or university. Like that's a problem too. So like I say, I can't speak for every program. I know for sure with this topic, I know Justin gonna come in and he's gonna shed light on some things. But if those things are happening, bro, like you gotta nip some of that in the bud. You want them to feel comfortable in that environment that they're in.
And speaking of Justin, let's welcome him to the panel. Boom. There we go.
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
All right,
What up,
Justin.
y'all?
I know you ready to give us a whole dissertation, brother. Yeah, we good, bro.
I literally just left practice. That's crazy. I left earlier today. As far as All-Star Bands, Quan, you was actually right about All-Star Bands happening early as the 90s. I know Mr. Wilbur Rawlins, I know him and his brother Lowe, they used to get together a lot and put their high school bands together and like after some high school games and just play a song. So the All-Star Band, meaning like my high school, your high school get together and playing, that's been around New Orleans forever. 2000 was the first that All-Star Band you talking about, that monstrous band that we talk about. Well, I know for sure had the greats in there that went to so many different schools from I think Robin was in that band that went to Norfolk, if I'm not mistaken. She could tell you all about that. But 2000, but us like grown ups edition adding to the band that started happening like around 0809 when Hum and New Orleans created their rivalry between like Brian Simmons and Gipp, and they got together. It became a thing, and then Memphis took over and they started. I remember old Memphis Band. They started, and then Mav started. So around there, back to LLI. LLI was like the stuff. It was the first. I'm gonna say in Louisiana. It was the first high school all-star band that was started by Dr. Isaac Graves himself. And how you had to get in there? Well, I got in there. We was picked in New Orleans, so it wasn't most of an audition thing. But some kids asked to audition, and we went everywhere. We did the Rose Bowl parade. They flew us out, took helicopters, all kind of stuff that whole weekend. We did parades and things of that nature. That's how that happened, Quanta, with the whole high school all star band thing. I do agree if you said I think that we should get back to doing high school all star bands because it creates unity. My first battle of bands that I threw out of college, Smash Bash. That's what I did when I took the 225 schools, all Baton Rouge schools, and all the Lafayette schools, 237. I mixed them together and I created these two big bands and they battled each other. It was all high school, no adults, right? Just to pretty much get them ready for the summertime. So that's my spiel about the history of it and questions on that.
So I have, and I guess this is a side question, real quick. I'm sorry, 1 second.
Smits. Well, while he's doing that, let me ask a random off the cuff question. Why are mass bands only why are mass bands only specifically to a city? Why isn't it a statewide thing? So like you got New Orleans mass band, why don't you just have Louisiana mass band? Or you got I'm just saying, I'm just asking.
Hey, look, I could chime in.
You got Houston United, why don't you have Texas man? So I don't know.
You start thinking about traveling rehearsals.
Oh, bro, I'm old.
It ain't that. It's a
And
matter
then
of
if people beefing with each other, there's so many variables into going. The city thing is more viable than trying to go the whole state, man. That's a whole bunch of heads trying to be in charge. Just my personal opinion. I played with the Augusta All-Star Band in Georgia. I played with North Carolina All-Star Band, which was really Greensboro, High Point, maybe a few Charlotte folk. You know what I'm saying? I played with them, but I could tell you expanded more, man. People not gonna make it to rehearsal. Like, oh, that's too far. I'm not driving 3-4 hours to meet y'all at this location. Why can't y'all come here? You know, and vice versa. So I think it's a whole bunch of reasons why they don't do it like that.
I disagree. Well, I disagree. I mean, for your state or where you at, other places like Alabama do it. Alabama do like multiple cities get together and practice different music, and they come together and make that band. Mississippi Mass Band, MAB. Not same thing, but everybody pretty much come to Jackson and make their band. Only place that's technically broken down multiple is Louisiana. New Orleans, we're not a part of Louisiana. We said that already. 337, everything that's from Lafayette over to Houston, they have their own band. This year 318, everything from the middle of Louisiana, Shreveport, Grambling, now they have their own band. New Orleans, if you was to do a Louisiana All-Star band, that shit would not be right. It would not it'd be like 1,000 people, probably more than that. Houston, they had a great Houston, like y'all said. I don't know why they don't have a Texas band, but like you said, my guy, that probably would not work. Dallas and Houston coming together. Come on, man.
Well,
So it depends on your state.
I can tell you why there's not a Texas one, but
I'm
Quan,
listening. I would like to know.
Well, Quan, I'm gonna let you go ahead and ask your question, and then I'm gonna bring Chuck in.
Well, hey, maybe you want to say that question for later because it's lengthy. But the question I was about to ask, why do you feel that mass band has for high schoolers have turned from actually doing a field show to exhibiting the drill writing skills and of those directors to where we are now to just park and play? In my opinion, I'm just being honest, I would be more susceptible to sending my students if I know they was going to do something like that. If I know that they was going to actually drill, just being honest. I see Justin's face. If I know they was going to drill and learn the techniques of drilling, regardless if it's 8 to 5 or whatever style, I would honestly be more susceptible to sending that because, again, you come back with a different sense of knowledge than just park and park and play or blow the hoe. I guess it's a difference. That's just my opinion. Like, why did we transition from? Because if you look at if you type I believe Great Houston All-Star to even 2010, they was doing drills the entire time, but they also had their stand battles as well. Like when you look at LLI to this day, bro, like. I would say, in my opinion, my favorite LLI is 2006.
Yeah.
They're like when they play Fly Like a Bird, like awesome. You feel what I'm saying? Outside of that, and there were really no other bands that was around that really was touching that high school sector. So why did it change from drilling, learning field shows to now we just playing 15 rap songs in a round? That's my question.
My answer to that is a few things. One, Quan, most of those bands who actually drill, 9 times out of 10, it was 90% high school. It was like either the ones you seen, I think you seen one in Dallas, and a lot was all high school. It's either a high school thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what the high school all-star bands did. You don't find a MAB doing a field show. You don't find a Hum doing a field show. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. Another reason why they don't do that, band directors really don't know their kids. I hate to say that, like, if this was 2 summers ago, Quan, they would have threw you in the fire of the band directors who goes against All-Star Band. And I love grilling band directors who go against All-Star Band because they don't be doing their kids. Not saying you don't. Kids get tired of like marching in the season. They really want to blow that hoe. That's what at least our summer band is for. Now, you have a great point. Band directors would be what I say to kids that we was doing field show and doing a lot of the fundamental things, but I can tell you this: how many times you see band directors ever really of the band directors who go against some band actually coming out and offering help?
So that's a great point. So I've spoken to band directors again in both states. You know, I travel, and I've heard some of the reasons why they didn't send their kids was because of my previous answer, the accountability of the students, the students coming back to them saying like, hey, I don't feel safe in specific situations. I think honestly, it's not even about the blowing that whole part. It's about the accountability of that student, because what people fail to realize is, for example, like your brand, Smash Time, if you have Smash Time All-Star Band, which could be a thing, you feel me? So you got the Smash Time band, right? So if I send my kid to that program, you got to realize I, as a certified teacher, have endorsed you. So if something happens to that student and I endorse that program, then they're going to come back and be like, well, who told you go to Smash Time All-Star Band? Well, Mr. Mitchell told me to go. Okay, Mr. Mitchell, first of all, you've taken in the state of Texas, it's called a professional pedagogy and responsibilities test, PPR, which means at all times, if I hear anything that my child is in danger, if I don't report that, then I'm fired. See, it's certain educational parameters that at all times, even we talking about and just getting down to it. If I hear one of my students was having sex, if I hear there was inappropriately touched, if I like whatever you think, if I hear it and that child is in danger, even if just say we doing a homework assignment and that child writes a poem and it's about committing suicide, I got to do that too. I got to report that too. So, and that's including All-Star Band and outside entities and third parties as well.
Quan,
Go ahead, bro.
as you should be concerned about all those things. I feel like I'm a lawyer for All-Star Band. It feel good.
I'm not against it though. I just want everybody to say that.
I just feel like, okay, I can't speak for, as you talk, is like we can keep together here. I know exactly who you're talking about in the programs. Where is that? I can only speak.
I don't know. I'm not speaking about one.
Okay. I'm gonna say I can only speak for where I'm at and the programs that I know that have successful summer bands. I'm gonna stress on that. Like, you send your kid to us, we're not smoking in front of no damn kids. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say we know these kids better than their band director know for no reason. Like, it's some of the stuff, like, people just say we blowing the hell. You gotta know how to read to come in some of these summer bands. So you don't want to feel embarrassed. You know, the on you play, that's a real thing in summer band, in some good programs that I've been around. You know what I'm saying? The Memphises, the Mavs, the New Orleans All-Star Bands. I know for sure. So a lot of those things that a band director will be concerned about, I'm not saying they're not gonna see something that you wouldn't do at your high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe cursing, but high school band directors curse, college band directors curse. But like, a lot of them things like smoking and like the sex and stuff like that, it don't happen at the programs I represent. You know what I'm saying? That don't happen. It may happen like outside of parameters afterwards. We can't control nothing that happens between our practice hours. You know what I'm saying? But you should be concerned in that. But I'm gonna just say, if you feel that strongly about like protecting your kids and stuff like that, just don't send them to summer band. But at the same time, you also know you really can't technically control what they do. So that's my question to the director. So you didn't, let's say you didn't approve of your kid performing in such All-Star Band over summer, and they still do, and you're gonna penalize them? Because I know a few summers ago, band directors was going crazy, saying summer band teach bad habits. Whole time your kid coming up can't read for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we teaching them more than you teaching them, but when they come to you and they bragging and teaching the other kids the stuff that you really didn't teach them, that's a part of the reason why like band directors don't be rocking with some bands too. So as concerned as you are, Quan, about the stuff that actually matters, you have band directors who actually be hating for real, that we learn more in our 3 days a week practice than some college bands too, learning 5, 6, 7 days of practice. So I'm gonna say that don't happen in our band. I can't control everything that happened in summer bands, but a lot of that stuff, at least I can speak for where we at, you know what I'm saying, don't really happen because one, Quan, I know you know 5 or 6 people in our band. You can look at our band, you know what I'm saying? And when it does happen, if you do see the glazing, because that may be a big thing too. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that y'all not really glazing no high school kids. You know what I'm saying? That's terrible. You know what I'm saying? No question on the shirt. Huh? What that was a voiceover? Yeah, so that's that about that. But I'm not saying it don't happen, Quan. I'm gonna just say from our band and like what the programs that I seen, you got other stuff to worry about, but then like smoking or like, you know what I'm saying, like we practicing and we practice in the heart of the 17th, right at Dunbar. You understand what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So like the city as a whole just bad. So like those small things, like I don't know, man. It's tough to explain, but you do have a right to be concerned about those things. I'm just saying there's a lot of other things that I think that you should be people should be concerned about that they give some bands flack for. So I know we kind of ran up the topic.
No. So I just want to do one more comment, Joe. So let me say this, bro. I'm from the same area. You feel what I'm saying? So I think it's a difference. Like you say, New Orleans is like its own country. It is, but that's how it is with band. So, bro, you could be selling dope, but you respect the band. Like it's just certain things in New Orleans that you're not going to be disrespectful to band. I don't care what it is, right? So I think that's the difference. So that syllogism that you just spoke is your absolute truth. But I've seen and I've traveled from Texas, Louisiana, and so forth and so on, and seen those and spoke to those band directors who are frat brothers and was like, nah, I'm not gonna send them there because of X, Y, and V, X, Y, and Z. And their motive is not from a hating perspective, is like, man, their systems and organization is just not together. Or X, Y, Z is not together. And like my student went there to whatever the facility was, right? And then practice didn't start till like 2 hours later because they couldn't find nowhere to practice. Like it was things like that that was stated that are actual, as a director, you got to remember, if I endorse it, then I'm supporting it. On the flip side of that, look at what Julian said about his band director. Mr. Thornton and Woolridge, that was the Kings. We're talking not of just Houston, but of Texas. And his standard was like, nah, at that time, y'all not performing in Greater Houston All-Star. And if that was his standard, but then he produced, because some of the greatest students that I know, and honestly, during his tenure at Woolridge, if you came out of Woolridge, you was a great marching band player. You was a great concert band player. If you decided to become a band director, honestly, you know your stuff now. So I think it's those small pockets that we see the negative, and unfortunately, one bad apple will always spoil a bunch, and that negative aspect and connotation gonna resound bigger than the positive what New Orleans is doing. Like I think y'all had like a combine. Nobody really was talking about that. And I saw some of the stuff and that was positive. You see what I'm saying? It's like, so I'm not knocking what you're saying, but it's more, and because you're a media person, if you go in some of those band camps and honestly show what they're doing, the teaching that they're doing, I think people's perspective will also be changed too. Just like our culture as Black folks, we not all robbing people. We out here doing positive things for our community. But if we shine a light on that, then it's going to have a different perspective, even with our own people.
Gotcha.
All right. You guys were kind of sticking your toe into the next topic. So let me go ahead and move on to the next topic then. All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy. All right. Don't wait. Smash it right now. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passioneers Network. This episode will be on all your podcast networks. Just type in Real Talk That Talk, or at Apple Podcasts, type in Talk That Talk. All right. So, like I said, you guys were kind of tipping your toe into this, and I'm going to actually, in this topic, I'm going to actually ask Derek a question too. And he'll elaborate on that. So, and I'm going to tell you where this topic comes from. Just hearing so many conversations about mass bands in different areas, in different states, in different cities. But when I look at the mass bands or all-star bands, or whatever the hell they're called, whatever band, community bands, when I look at them, it seems to me that the Louisiana bands are massive, like massive. And all the other bands are just like me, right? And then also, it also seems to me, and just based on this conversation that you guys were having, that I guess some of the things that are happening in the Louisiana bands are not necessarily some of the things that are happening in the outside bands. So here's the next question: are mass bands a regional thing? Like let's keep it a buck. Like, should everybody have a mass band? Is it so this is where I defer. I'm going to defer to Derek first, and then we can open up the table for the discussion, because I know Derek is part of this. The what is it? The Virginia Mass. I want to say it right. I don't want to get
Virginia Mass Band.
Virginia Mass Band, and apparently I didn't know that there was a mass band that had happened in Virginia in the 90s. I had absolutely no clue. So this new mass band in Virginia is a new thing to me. So, one, what gave you the interest to want to be a part of the Virginia mass band, and then is it something that we really need in Virginia?
So, boom, I'll say this, because it's going to kind of tie into what you're saying, with the regional. band itself is a regional thing. Think about them hot spots for them big bands. You talking about Louisiana? Them kids grow up playing instruments since they were little kids. I mean, they grow up around the culture. It's the culture. We don't have that in Virginia, which is also my argument for why, why not have something during the summer that can help promote the culture, but I definitely do agree that it's a regional thing. It's also an infrastructure thing. Like all the groups that you all are talking about have been established for quite some time and have some reputable people that are backing these ensembles. Like Justin's ensembles, the people that's leading that, everybody know their name in the state. It's not like these are nobodies. Somebody just wanted to get something together. These are established people. Same thing. I'm talking about like Georgia All Stars Mass Band. They have some reputable names behind it. They have a good infrastructure going behind it. They do everything legit. You could think about the other successful groups. It's partly infrastructure, but when we start talking about size, I think that's a regional thing. Because we can even let's look at the Detroit or the whichever Detroit one we want to talk about. The groups are always small, but look at the high schools. The high schools are always small. Now they have some good players over there, but the high schools are always small. That's what it reflects the region. Same thing I'm talking about in Virginia. Our high school bands are small compared to these other states. And so therefore our mass band, our all-star band, will reflect that until the culture starts changing. If we can increase the size of these high school bands, this mass band, this all-star band will increase too. So I mean, it's just a lot of factors that go into that. But you asked what was my reason for trying to get behind something like this. We had tried this many years and flopped and failed before. A lot of egos getting in the way, a lot of trial and error, people not really knowing what they were really doing, and not on purpose. I think everybody that tried to do it had good intentions, and I think that's for almost every all-star band. Everybody has good intentions. They want to get together, have some camaraderie, they want to play, have a good time, and that's kind of the basis for all-star mass band. I wanted to get involved because now I'm a high school band director, right? People know me in Virginia, and I felt like in order to get something going that was going to be legit, you need some people that's legit around it. Whether it might start off real slow this summer, and we might see what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. But if we start, at least making some progress, trying to get some other, like I said, the big names, the people that people know, the certified people, the people that know how to teach behind it, we can get it rolling like a snowball. I think that was our issue before. It was kind of like everybody's trying to be around and nobody that's really like legitimate was being involved at all or tried to stay away from it because they were scared of failure, So I think that was what the issue was in our area. You did say, does every region need one though? Like I said, I don't see why not. I mean, it may not be huge. Like I don't think we're ever gonna see nothing like Louisiana. I'm sorry, it is what it is. You're not. But I was like, why not? The purpose is there. You want to have fun. If the program is gonna, like just said, they're gonna be teaching the kids in the program, why not? It's not gonna do anything but a positive effect. Now, if you just up in there blowing your head off and just throwing some music in front of these kids' faces and they trying to look to the left and the right to see what fingers you playing and just trying to blow hard, that's not productive. But if you're actually going to go in there, you're going to teach. Let's order a routine for rehearsal. Let's go and attack these parts. I think you should do it. That's my personal opinion.
I'm sorry. I heard you. I felt everything you were saying. Because I don't want to skip over what you said. I want to make sure I give you your props on what you said. But Portia was shaking that old head. I got to know, why do you feel like every region does not need a mass band?
Rick not here, so I'm gonna speak for him. What's the Virginia one gonna sound like?
Talking to me.
Yeah.
Now
you involved. What does it sound like?
You're right. So
because Norfolk doesn't sound like any other band in Virginia, and we don't sound like the SWAT. So
Norfolk doesn't sound like any other band in Virginia. However, the other bands in Virginia have some inkling of Norfolk in them.
So y'all gonna make it sound like Norfolk?
No, I think it should be a centralized sound for. We're talking about like just the things that are characteristic for Virginia, like from the way we play percussion, the approach to the horns. Like we don't have no swag sound in schools in Virginia. Now I ain't saying everybody sounds.
How many people from MD you got in this percussion section?
Now look, like I said, you got to start with it had a faith of a mustard seed. We got
I'm just you saying that y'all gonna do this,
we got high school kids.
We gonna keep it a buck 50 here.
Yeah, but
there's levels to this. I'm trying to. God is dope. I ain't gonna cuss, but it's levels. So I'm just trying to figure out.
I know it's levels.
Well, okay, but I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I ain't got no dog in the fight. My question is this: but why is that like? I guess the standard, like the Norfolk, to emulate that.
I'm not saying it's the standard. What I'm saying is, what I asked him was, what it's gonna sound like.
Now, so look, this is what I will say. I think Virginia has a sound, just like North Carolina has a sound, just like Georgia has a sound, Louisiana has a sound, Texas has a sound. They have a sound if you really want to pick apart. Now, everybody might have their small differences. We all have our sounds, but Norfolk is the big player in Virginia by far. I mean, it's not a comparison. It's not like we in, I don't know what other state.
And that's what Lauren is saying is exactly what I'm saying. Those bands sound like where they from, right?
Yeah.
No,
we
don't
necessarily. Georgia don't.
Here, sir. Like
Georgia don't.
You don't think Georgia sound like? I'm not even talking. Ain't no Georgia colleges. Obviously, I'm talking about. But let's talk about these high schools. They don't sound like a Georgia high school.
Wait, Justin, you going hard? You muted, bro.
Yeah, it don't sound like nothing they come out of Georgia. It can sound Jackson State influence, but
right. So what I'm saying is, is the Virginia band gonna sound? I just want to know if it's gonna have that whole mentality.
Hold on. Let me get it. I just want to clarify something about the Georgia thing. They sound like Jackson because ain't nothing else in Georgia like that. So most of them kids go to Jackson.
Why we
like, you really think about it?
But I don't think that's fair.
All-star band that don't sound like the Swag.
But you have a lot of most of the band directors that's in Georgia be from Bethune though and FAM.
And why do they have the Allstar Band don't have no rules to it? They don't got Virginia don't got to sound like Norfolk. That's not the standard of
I never said that.
Well,
I know.
What I asked Derek was what it was gonna sound like.
And Derek, I think y'all should
that's
like
whatever
y'all put out, that's what it sounds like. And don't let nobody discourage y'all from what y'all doing. It's not no. I get it. The Norfolk way is that.
I'm gonna say it does have to have.
I don't know why y'all got so defensive. I asked him one question.
No, not. I just say it don't have no. Listen, but you gotta think about this too. When they put them products out, Portia, I think everything that you're saying is gonna come to fruition in the damn comments. Like that, I want to see what they sound like. Cause when I heard the other year, I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if it's over.
So my follow-up question, because I guess it's gonna sound like what it sound like, whatever that means.
No, it's not gonna.
So if it sound like the SWAT. But it's a Virginia All-Star band.
Who's saying it's gonna sound like? See, this
I'm asking hypothetical questions since you involved.
Yeah.
If it sound like the SWAT, but it's labeled a Virginia All-Star band,
what's wrong with that?
Is that authentic?
But what does sound like the SWAT?
It sound like exactly. Fam, you in the SWAT, but throwing in the SWAT.
We crank up in Norfolk, right?
Shit that you right there. Being honest.
I get where you're coming from. However, this is what I'm saying. The difference between what we're doing in Virginia is because it's just a brand new program. They're really trying to focus on getting off the ground the right way. I'm talking about going from teaching, trying to really get to. It's more of a community outreach thing right now. I'm gonna tell you that they practicing apart. I've only been to a couple of rehearsals because I teach full time, so I'm still in school, so I don't have time to make it out there all the time. But they're playing in the parks. The small kids are coming over there talking about, I want to join band. They're just influencing right now. It's not. I don't want you to think about, especially not this first year, as like a professional group, like something that's well established. They're doing what they can. They're trying to have fun.
Y'all still have a direction, right there.
What you're saying? What's your approach?
I feel like.
What's the?
Ain't nobody saying just go up and crank up. They don't do that. It's not like put them on your face and blow it.
If it don't sound like Norfolk,
but we're gonna be fair. I get what you're saying. So you have I think was it 3 HBCUs in the state of Virginia. You got Virginia Union, Virginia State, and then you got Norfolk, right? So,
Hampton.
Hampton, come on,
And
man.
Hampton-
oh
It's
yeah, Virginia.
right up the street from us.
But
Yeah,
that's not all the schools that these students come from.
No,
Kids that
but
go all
And it's
over.
so I'm being messy, real talk. So what I'm saying is with those 4 HBCUs, right?
No, man, Ricardo.
So with those 4 HBCUs, what she's saying is from a regional perspective. Now, she's saying it's just somewhat emulated, but at the same time, I look at Detroit. When Detroit had their mass band, they ain't sound like nobody from nowhere.
Exactly, and cold. It's
No,
mad. So everybody
like
that
Detroit.
banner was.
It sound like Detroit, but still, I'm saying we're gonna still. It's still good.
What's Detroit sound like though?
We're talking about phrasing, intonation, playing with
Shit,
good
Motown,
like
they got a
fundamental
rich-
things. That's not.
They got a rich music culture. Do you know?
No. I'm talking about from a band perspective.
Boy, listen. Tell me you never marched in the band with somebody from Detroit. No,
I have.
It was cold.
Everybody
So
is marked.
No. See, so I think y'all misinterpreting my question. This is kind of like what Portia was saying. Portia's saying regionally, right? Everybody has a distinct sound. So you go to Louisiana, real talk. Most of your high schools gonna try to emulate Southern. That's the truth. If you go to Mississippi, same thing. We just stated, from our opinion, that Georgia mass bands sounds closer to Mississippi than their eastern counterparts of Bethune and FAMU. Did we just agree?
They killed the culture, but that's another story for another day. Yeah, it did. Bethune fam died, Georgia died. Hey, let's talk about it. They said all the kids in Bethune. That's another story another day. But
I disagree.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, she's saying regionally, people sound like what they sound. If you look at Houston, at one point, the influence of Prairie View's drumline, the box, it was most of your high schools try to emulate the box or TSU, either or they play both, right? What she's merely asking is, what's the approach for this newly birthed all-star program? What is it going to sound like? Because I guess what she's saying is, if it sounds like something from the South, then we're not being real VA people, Virginia.
I get what you're saying. That's what I'm adding to it. I'm saying I don't want to say it's going to sound like Norfolk, because
I never mentioned Norfolk.
So I'm saying the approach is, we still think about just basic fundamentals. We're talking about playing with good tone, not overblowing, good arrangements that aren't taking you past a. I'm just saying, like, this regular fundamental stuff, man. And because we got high school kids jumping in with these college kids, we're trying to teach good fundamentals.
Derek, it sounds like if y'all don't sound like your area, they're not going to support it. Low key, I don't want y'all to sound like nothing from over there. I want y'all to sound like whatever directors who had the balls to start the band. That's what they should sound like, whatever they determined to. And at the same time, let's say if it did sound this way, you encouraging kids who in that program, you introduce them to everything that's bigger in your area. Like, there's nothing's wrong with that. I'm shooting. Georgia played the damn Lion King, and that we didn't. Nobody, the people who gave Allstar Band flag, 1 or 2 of them critique that song. That song the best thing out there, and that song like some of their fam up and down would have played, but it came from Georgia, so I guess that was a problem too. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm gonna say to come back, because I agree with you saying. I don't think we should. Some people gonna like it, people not gonna like it. However, we have a responsibility, especially if it's high school students in it. We got to teach them good fundamentals. Me personally, I can't get away from that. I don't think the group is going to get away from that. Now, I'm not saying they can't crank, because we crank at Norfolk State. Like, I don't want people think we're oblivious. Like, we crank. I don't.
Yes, y'all do.
Nobody can say we don't. That is false. Now, we do not play past the capacity of the horn or whatever you want to call it. We don't overblow, but we crank. We put air through them horns. Like, it's loud. But at the same time, we're still trying to think about the same thing, like the small things, phrasing, intonation, style, all this type of stuff. Like, we're trying to teach over there. That's all I'm trying to say.
Y'all in trouble, boy.
Can I do it like that? We're trying to teach fundamentals. I can't tell you exactly what it's going to sound like, because there's so many different elements in it. We're just starting. It's just starting, y'all.
Portia on your ass, bro.
I don't. They try to get on me, man.
I'm damned if you
Portia on your ass, bro. You're gonna be a real VA person, hold it down.
I just asked what was the direction. I guess it's to be determined, to be announced. But what I'm gonna tell you is, if these high school kids y'all start sounding like the SWAC and all that they go on down there. Some of it good, some of it bad. When they show up and William Bethea cussing you out, I'ma just say blame the Allstar Band. That's what I'm telling you. It's because y'all, if you go left with it, y'all gonna set them up to be something different than what the programs are that they going into.
So, question: What if they sound like the Sweat and actually sound good?
Okay, but some of that shit ain't gonna translate. Is what I'm telling you.
And them kids send them down to the Sweat because they will have a better time anyway. Next question, Rick, please.
We teach a fundamental sound. All right, is that good?
Portia, you might want to change your shirt. I'm just saying.
I know, because y'all trying me. I asked one question. What was the direction? If he had said we still working on that, we trying to see what talent we have, and we feeling this out. That would have been a legitimate answer. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing is what this is.
Hey, but real talk, if a band director asks that though, you gonna have to answer that though.
That was my answer was exactly what I said. We're gonna start with teaching fundamental sound. You know, a lot of these kids.
But that's really not that's really not a good enough answer for a band director, because honestly, if you were to say, hey, we're gonna have a crisp, clean sound like DCIS with this aspect and this approach, because you got to sell your program now. And that's just from brother to brother. Like, you got to sell your program.
From brother, like Portia just alluded to, we have a mix of talent. It's not going to sound like we're not going to be able to do a DCI thing. We're not going to be able to do a North State thing. It's all to different elements. We're just going to try to.
Nah, but if your approach is like that, though.
Y'all have somebody from Southern on y'all staff, correct?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you need some, boy, listen, do whatever y'all think is going to sound good to y'all, and you breaking barriers over there, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Tell you from All-Star Band vet standpoint, they're not gonna like you until you do something impressive, and that's not. I think you
just gonna have to see.
It sounds like if you don't sound Norfolk, you're not gonna support, and that's really terrible.
I never said that. I'm a huge fan of a lot of other band programs. I think it's a time and a place for that shit. But what I'm saying is that you need to have a direction, and are you adequately preparing these people for these Virginia bands that they could potentially go to? The third thing is that is it gonna sound like what we bring to the world? That was all my questions. Evidently, I'm gonna have to wait and see, and that's okay. But
it had to be.
You gotta come back on the show to y'all for performance, because boy,
I was gonna ask. Well, when is y'all first performance? I was a little nervous.
It's still in rehearsal. Like I said, we're dealing, and I'm gonna tell you, most of the kids there are high school kids. Like, you know, so it's not. I don't want it to be too big of an expectation, because there's not a lot of college students like how a regular mass band would be. It's not a lot of college students, a lot of high school kids. Some of these kids are just learning how to read music. Like, you know, I'm observing them. I've only been a couple rehearsals, but, you know, and they have the section leaders help them out. They're showing them how to clap through rhythms, showing them how to break down. It's a young group, you know, like the whole trombone section. I think it's like one college kid. That's it. It's one college kid in the whole trombone section right now. The rest of them high schoolers.
What influenced y'all? What influenced y'all to start this Allstar Band?
It's been something that's been wanted for quite a few years, man. But like I said, there's a lot of egos that were getting in the way, a lack of infrastructure, a lack of plan, direction, as you all were talking about. And like I said, we're just in the process of building that together. It's not
the answer to your question is that they saw the schools down south in Detroit and all these people that we named doing it, so they want to do it too. That's the answer.
That's not true. Like I said, it's a completely different model up here. I've been in different All-Star. I played with different All-Star bands. I've literally driven down to places, put some music in front of my face. And literally, the first thing I did was have to crank up, you know what I'm saying, sight reading the music. That's not what it is. It's definitely not that. They won't.
I see the DM man cranking up. I know people that see my band.
The capital city All-Stars
up there. Now, man.
Yeah. That's where I'm from. I'm from Maryland, but you know, like I said, it's not that. It's different. It's different. I don't think they had no influence. Me personally, they didn't have any influence on me trying to be a part of that. I don't think it was motivation for anybody. I think people just wanted to do the same thing everybody wanted to do in another state. They wanted something to do over the summer.
They won't crank up. All that soft stuff ain't gonna cut it, man. Yeah, anyway.
So I'm gonna put this out there. First of all, Because I really want to get morph back into the question. Being a regional thing, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Texas should have a mass ban. I really don't. I don't think Houston should. I don't think Houston should have one. I don't think Dallas should have one. I'm just keeping a buck. I ain't, ain't no point in me lying about it.
Why?
Because of the fact that Texas is mad widespread and there isn't a conclusion, in my personal opinion, there isn't a conclusion on approach, right? Because there are, in Houston, you have bands who are emulating Southern, you have bands who are emulating Texas Southern, you got bands who are emulating PV, you got bands who are emulating Jackson, and it's the same thing in Dallas, right? And I think that when you bring those kids together and those different ideas, and unless you have a staff that really has made a decision on what they want to do with that program, it I think, in my personal opinion, it hurts more than it helps. And I also think that that's why you end up with the smaller groups. If you look at Louisiana, and hell, even what is it, Georgia or Mississippi, is one of them, versus the Houston mass band and the Dallas, they're small. Like, both of them are small, and I think it's just because of a level of one. I probably will also go with interest, but I also think that it's just a thing where it's just a dissension of what they're gonna do when they get there. A kid from Louisiana knows when they walk into that mass band, they gonna crank up like Southern. They know walking in, right? But if I play UFO at Texas Southern and I walk into a mass band, I know, and this is no slight to PV or anything, but the UFOs at Texas Southern are different than the UFOs at PV. Now, I'm not saying that the UFOs ain't, and I'm not saying that the UFOs ain't playing at PV. I'm just saying that their approach, it's like at Texas Southern, I don't know, I'm not going to say what it is under Brian Simmons' band, but I know a couple years ago, it was the UFOs featuring Texas Southern, Ocean of Soul. So when you have those two mindsets in one room, and there's no complete, focus or vision on what you exactly want to do and move forward and sound like, I think that it just kind of creates this odd little thing that it just makes people not as excited to participate. And then you got egos too.
That's the main reason why they don't survive.
Houston was bigger than New Orleans when we first started. When under Gibb, Houston tore us up not 1,000 times, like 2-3 summers in a row before we like really got our stuff together. Go look at that 2010 battle. We came over 50 people.
I agree, but that's why Houston can't survive. Houston can't survive because of egos.
Yeah, that was my point. Egos, definitely.
Like Houston can't survive egos, and I'll just leave it at this. There's other things that have taken place with some school districts that was like, nah, we're not doing it because certain things have came about there, and I'll leave it at that. But for aside, because at one point, Red Talk Houston had 2 All-Star bands.
Who?
It was like Greater Houston, 3 Greater Houston All-Star. That was for high school. They had Hum, and then for like a year or two, they had something called Category 5.
Oh yeah.
Then, but you remember? I don't know if you remember this, Justin. They also had like LLI, and then they had it was like Sophisticated Sound or something like that. It was like a purple school.
SOD, Sounds of Dynamite. That was Kedrick Taliban. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, which they was dope because my frat brother Will Allen was helping with that as well. He was from Estruma. So it's like you have that, but bottom line, when it comes to Houston, bro, is really egos, dog. And it's like people really, they're having like real talk a dick measuring competition to see who's the better teacher. Well, my approach is better. I'm not, and so then you have something like what you have.
Yeah, I like I said, that's why I don't believe that Texas should have a mass ban. That's just my personal opinion.
I think they should.
I think that if they have one, in my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion, most of the people need to be from the same place with the same mindset. That's just my personal opinion. It can't be a whole bunch of PV people, and then it can't be to me a mixture of PV, Texas Southern, some dude who went to Jackson, but they from Houston, so they came to marching, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it works that way. That's just in my opinion. So, but hey, that's what opinions are for.
And that's part of why I asked that question here, because it's gonna have to be a meeting of the minds, and these minds ain't the same, and that's just all how I'm gonna say that. These minds and these thought processes around here are not the same.
It works. Listen, we have people that from Jackson, Talladega, and them all kind of places that work. And I'm not even saying
blow that hoe. All of
it. They ain't blow that hoe. It sound good. Like Piece of Life. We have a couple of songs that, like, granted, we also, I think we don't get enough credit by the time we practice. Some of us only practice 3 times a week. Some people don't practice 2 days a week. You know what I'm saying? They still putting out a product. Versus, I'm gonna stand on this. I feel like if we could, like, box this mass band thing and make it a year round, I would love to battle at college and embarrass the sleeves off of college. I would love to.
Nope.
I would love to. You crazy? I would love to. All right, y'all
Nope.
think about it. Like, it's like the stuff that we do in Sunday Pro, like your program couldn't stand a chance. And people don't want to talk about it. Some of these Allstar Bands be sounding better than these colleges. They do. And y'all don't want to give them their credit. Why nobody ain't look back at it? Only person who had the ball to look back at it that year was FAMU. And it sounded like how FAMU sound. Why nobody play? A couple of these songs, these mass bands, these colleges ain't touching that these mass bands put their spin on, and they wouldn't stand a chance because the ratings be just not gonna top it. You don't want to compared to them. That's the thing that happens. It happens. So that's stuff for another day. Chuck, quiet.
What up, Justin? I don't know nothing about no look back at it, so I can't even respond to that. But go ahead, Chuck.
Hey, what up,
I know
y'all?
the song. I'm just saying I didn't hear, a mass band play. I wasn't privy to that because I just didn't watch it. So
I'm gonna send it to you.
And that's yeah, send it to me, because I'm not trying to say I don't watch mass bands. Here's the thing: I watch mass bands, but after a while, I turn them off.
Because you gotta watch somebody to keep you interested, man.
No, it's not that. It's if I close my eyes, I don't know who's playing. Like, literally, if I close my eyes, I don't know who's playing.
Julian, you just said what one of the points that I was gonna say. Justin, you good. No, Justin, you mentioned a few groups that all work together, like Talladega, Southern, Jackson. Y'all have a lot of similarities in terms of sound, and that's why it works.
Yeah, people from all over, bro. We have
right. I get it, but I'm just saying, though, for the collective, though, for the majority, that's why it works. And one thing that Portia and Julian was saying, I know for me, I typed it in the comments earlier. We had an all-star group that had a few groups from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina when I was in high school. This is in the 90s, right? And all of those directors that were over it, they were all like college buddies. They were all really good friends. And I think that's why it worked. They all really knew each other. They had the same idea in terms of concept and sound. Even though they went to different colleges, they came together. There was a meeting of the minds, and they did like a whole week clinic where it was hosted at Fayetteville State University. And this was kind of on the back of, we used to have this whole thing called All CIAA Band. And so anytime they had the CIAA championship for football, they would do an all-star group together of all the CIAA groups, right? And so that's how that kind of came on. But anyways, they did a whole clinic throughout the whole week, and then did a big performance, on the weekend. And then the year I got into it, we did the Zulu Parade, at Mardi Gras. And it was adults. It was all adults. They were all college grads. They were all high school band directors or middle school directors. And that was my experience. But as a 16-year vet high school band director, I started seeing the change. I started seeing less of the directors doing this and more of the former band student that either graduated school or didn't graduate from school. And just being honest, it's like AAU. It's like AAU basketball. I coached high school basketball for 6 years. It's the same thing. And I know a lot of us, I just speak for me, but it was already touched on by some of the other music educators in here, that we were noticing some huge inconsistencies, in terms of like really just how to run, an organization in a quick and efficient way, in a safe way. I think it was a group that was mentioned. Go ahead.
Did you ever try to go offer help to any of these programs?
Oh, for sure. But the problem is that again, as a music educator that went to school for several years, had to take several tests and accreditations, and then to have somebody teaching kids that maybe did 2 years in the band and their pedagogy is trash, just to be honest, and they're teaching by rote and not, doing some of the, and not saying that this happens at all the mass bands, but you got to look at that. That's disrespectful to the profession. I'm not going to go in and try to teach somebody else how to do surgery if I ain't never done it before. And
The
so again,
question:
you get a
what if
lot of the
that person?
directors like they kind of pull away from it. Now, I'll be honest, there's some mass bands here in Georgia. I teach in Georgia now, and I support some of them. Why? Because they're a LLC or they're a 501c3. They got their money and they got adults that are pushing this thing and and honestly, I feel safe sending my kids there. But I'm not gonna send them anywhere with somebody that only played in the band for a couple years because they're
Sometimes
not
that
gonna come back better.
sometimes that person who only played in the band a couple of years, I'm not saying you judging them or like you just feel like they're beneath you because you got more credentials than them. But
Right.
sometimes they have more influence than the people with so all these so-called degrees and teaching experience. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
Yeah.
band directors, I want to say sometimes band directors like don't look at that. For every time I ask that question, like somebody say, "Oh, some bands play as rap tunes." Obviously, you don't watch summer band because we even get on. We not gonna play all the damn rap tune. We play a song called Enemigos. It's a
Mhm.
Spanish song. You know what I'm saying? It's not a rap song. You know what I'm saying? We have a wide variety of book, but I just feel like I'm just had to say it. I just feel like sometimes these people either they hate on the success that some of these people who run these all-star bands have and wish that they could get the turnout if they ever wanted to start an all-star band. Now, I'm not saying that's
Right.
y'all. That's a thing. We see it time at the time. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think that somebody like you, all the teaching experience you got, trumpet, go with him. You know what I'm saying? You can help out more. Come try to be the change that y'all want to see instead of, you know what I'm saying, instead of looking outside and saying you're a comment. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
I don't know. That's just
let
my
me
thing.
say this real quick, Justin, and I get what you're saying. One of the interesting things. Okay, I thought Portia would go change her shirt, but one of the interesting things is I tend to hear that a lot. Like, is the director coming to help, right? But I think in a lot of cases, especially with the high school kids, why does the director need to come to you? Shouldn't you come to the director because you're trying to get my kids?
Stay right there.
So,
You know how
so
you know
that's
you
I mean that's why I go
let me
ahead.
touch on that. That's because I'm gonna get these all-star band directors up in here one day for you, Luke, so you can really like get them
No,
the
that's fine.
questions. Okay, because listen, you know why they don't go to them for help, bro?
Mhm.
I'm proud of Allstar Band because it's like we the children of the corn, we the throwaway kids. You know what I'm saying? You know how many people we asked to practice at your school? Now I was a former teacher, so I understand how things work. Like who gonna be responsible on our campus? If something happened, who gonna be responsible for this? Liability, this, that, and third. But don't sit up here and come on, y'all know y'all the teachers that like the school really trust y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like like you can open the gym on a Saturday and let your kids come play in there without doing all the paperwork that you got to do. We have those type of teachers, those type of principals. But like summer band's been neglected by schools and directors for so long that we just getting out the mud. And now that they're successful and we finding ways to make it work, you know what I'm saying? We doing it without. But I do feel like a lot of people don't reach out because of that same thing. Like they feel like you're gonna look down on me and look you got more credentials than me, so you're not gonna want to come help our summer band. That's a lot of BS. So I'm gonna get them directors up in here for you and let them tell you some of the struggles that they face about getting these summer bands out the ground. Something that simple as practicing, dog. I got so tired of practicing in the park, like in the middle of the park, in the middle of the Magnolia Project. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why people ain't come and mess with the band or they shooting because they understand. All the gangsters bad heads, everybody bad heads. Like, why did I show you 2017? We was practicing in the same park where back that thing I was shot at. We practiced right there, and it was a concert for the city every day. You know what I'm saying? Why we had to go to the park? Because the schools didn't want to let us practice up enough. We take band directors who are part of the program. You know what I'm saying? Who are part of the program to like risk I ain't say put their job on the line, but let us practice in their band rooms because they know all we want to do is play at the end of the day. So that's just
But
my
Right.
but the truth is that is putting their job on the line. So
yes.
you have to realize, and and I just kind of want to speak for the band directors, and then I know Derek, you got something to say. But one, every school system and every classroom situation ain't created equal, right? You may find a couple of band directors who have a amazing rapport with their admin, and they will let them, hey, here the keys, you good, blah 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 blah. That may just happen, but on average, that ain't happening. There is a liability to that. There are paperwork that you sign. There is so much stuff that goes into that. And especially if you have people who are walking onto that campus who are not even a part of the campus, not a teacher, not a student. There's just so many things that are a part of that puts that director on the line, because it only takes one situation. It don't take 15 situations. It only takes one. And so on that regard, just from what you said, I can understand that. I truly understand that. It's I don't even think it's just a thing against math bands in that particular thought process. I think that people want to keep their check going. So
hey, that's what I was meaning when I was just talking about like certifications and stuff, not to throw my stuff in front of anybody, because I always tell my kids, hey, you may learn something, the same thing that I'm saying, but they say it differently and it may stick. That's a reality, and that happens. But again, when you put in that time and that energy and that money and that, level of stress just to get there, like, you protect that. That's our livelihood. That's how we take care of our family. It's more than just the culture. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that people part of the mass band don't understand that, but some folks don't. They're like, hey, you wouldn't talk to that kid that way or do this in this certain way if this controlled how you paid rent or how you took care of your family. You would move a little bit differently. And I think sometimes we see that on the college level as well too, with how directors act and move a certain way, because it's a little bit different when you're in that chair and you're responsible,
And
and you in that office with that principal, and they like, hey, why'd you play that song with, I don't know, was it CeeLo Green, F you in there? Why'd you play that? And then the whole audience said it. You knew what that song said. Why did you do that? You can't explain that. You can't say it's a cultural thing. They go back, hey, we about to suspend you without pay. Next time, there's your job. We're gonna get somebody else.
There's a lot of things when it comes to certification as it relates to an educator that's just totally crazy, right? Like, we go through a lot to obtain the certification, but we can easily lose it from the smallest thing. Like, here's something I talked to somebody about that I don't remember who I was telling about, but here's the thing about teacher certification, right? We go through 4 years, maybe 5 years or more, depending on, what your situation was. But you go through a lot of years. You take you take 2 exams. Some people take 3, because for praxis, you got to take them 2 exams.
They take 2. I know.
It's a lot, right? We get our certification, and you have this thing called a standardized test. I'm just going to break it down to you. If you perform one irregularity on that standardized test, even if it's by mistake, they are cutting your certification. It's tight. Your certification is gone. Now, on the flip side, you have somebody who can randomly just go and decide they want to be a cop, get in it for a couple of months, shoot somebody. They'll be good. They'll be right back on the force in another school, at another precinct. That is the difference between being a teacher and everything else in this world.
That includes not to cut you off, but that includes like alumni band when they come back for homecoming too.
Absolutely.
Like my first year here, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring back, alumni, and then I started seeing how like some alumni operate. I was like, not saying that everybody was bad, but I was like, say fam, like, hey, like you smell like a cup, bro. You smell like a pint. Like go at it out. Like and bro, we see it at homecoming at the collegiate level. When they try to have them flags, like, man, I used to play tenor drum at 9-9, and bro, but like, you're reeking right now, and we got admin walking around. It's like some people just they mind click back to that zone, and let me give me your drum, and the kid like, what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes that happens, and then a principal will tap you. Hey, come here real quick. Hey, tell him go, or he about to get arrested, and I need to talk to you Monday morning because I need to talk about your systems, how you operate with alumni band. It's crazy, bro. So I mean,
y'all talking about education, and I feel everything y'all saying, but what I'm gonna tell you is that mass band shit ain't paying no mortgage, paying no bills. What I'm saying is the money come first.
Yeah.
My livelihood and my life come first. Do I think people should help y'all, help the kids in whatever direction y'all want to go? Is it constructive? Is there some benefit to it? I'm not saying that it's not, but to sacrifice your career, whatever the career is, because some people just don't know how to act, Justin. That's just the reality of this thing.
I get
some people just don't know how to act.
I'm a listen. I was 4 years in New Orleans. Listen, I get it. What I'm saying is simply this: like, for all you, not saying you, but people who have something to say, is mainly like, it's crazy how all y'all understand the struggle, right? Y'all understand the struggle. You come from the culture, and you have like all of this to say. Like, I get it. You're putting your job on the line, but like, my thing is, if you're not helping it, I feel like, shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these programs, like, we struggle to make this thing happen for the culture. And then it be the people who, not y'all, I'm just saying this, it be the people who act like they're for the culture, but they're not really for the culture. You know me personally, you know I'm not gonna let anything happen with this organization. And you listen, and you still will turn your back, but we the first ones to have some, why they sound like this. We sound this because we were practicing in a damn park. We practicing under the damn shed, and we never could get the right everything for it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. It's, if you feel that way, you know what I'm saying? We done made it work. I don't know too many Allstar Bands right now besides the new ones that's just starting up. Because some of the schools and some of the people who you actually act like you had to impress, we got their attention now, and they're reaching out to us like, "Oh, this is a positive thing now." The people who you were scared of. So I'm just coming from just telling you some of the struggles that they go through versus some of the people who actually can help. The little things you can't help, you don't help but have everything to say. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is the first time, and I mean, we've talked about it a couple times on the show, but I don't have conversations about mass band because I'm not an expert. That's not my area. That's not my area of expertise. It's not something I've had to deal with. It's something new. Some of them sound good. So I'm not saying that there are no benefits. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there aren't people out here trying to make a difference in these students' lives. In my overall opinion, is that it need to be separated. If it's high school, it need to be high school. If you 100, you need to be with adults, because then that lessens some of this stuff that we was talking about. It does not. 40-year-old man does not need to be in a band with a 15, 10-year-old person. I'm sorry, because I'm not having the same conversations at that age that they are. It's a gap. It is going to be a legit life gap. And so understanding that, it should just be separate to me. If you want to have a college all-star band and let all these college students come together over the summer and crank up and play and sound like whoever they want to, I think that should be fine. They are all adults. There's limited liability there. If there is an all-star band that includes high school students, y'all teaching them, growing them, helping them, getting them acclimated to what it'll be like later, I am completely for that. This mixing of the thing does not do it for me, and that's my major gripe.
Actually, summer band it is for adults, but we let high schools play. If you old enough, mature enough, we even have 8th graders in the band. Your parents approve of it, because if you at a certain age, you got to sign a permission slip. So I get what you're saying. If it was separate, but that's like saying this is the culture, and if you're taking the age group, that's what we brag on it. We like All-Star Band. I'm gonna start speaking for my back. We pretty much the example and leading force of this shit now. From 12 to 60. You know what I'm saying? If we make it work, you know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying is the mind gap and stuff like that. But if you are coming here for one reason to play your music, like, we don't have incidents like that. And if we did have, you'll nip that shit in the bud before it starts. I think y'all need to come to some of these, well, I can't speak for everybody, but our practice and show, because I can't tell you from your experience, but the bands that I know, all that dumb stuff is not happening. I get it, it's a liability. We've been practicing in the schools now. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, Portia, what you're saying, but that's like, it's the culture. It's a mixture of a community band. And We got all ages up here doing one thing, playing music and keeping this damn culture alive. Now I feel you, like create a high school version of it for the summer. Yeah, and then create an adult version of it for the summer, but that's just unfortunate. That's not how it is. Maybe if we had the luxury to practice someplace that we could send all the high schools, you know what I'm saying? Or people, take it under their wing. I don't know. That's just not the culture. This how it is, and that's what
I
it's
think
going.
districts will be more amenable to these are students in this district or who are high school students who have equal stuff to lose. Their major concern is probably not them kids. Their major concern is that these grown people, I have no sanction over them. I cannot do anything to them if they come in here and act a damn fool. There's nothing I can do.
So
that is probably the biggest piece of it. Is
and
that
I would like to speak about that too. So look, that was for me. So like let's talk about Virginia. They had something last summer, right? I wasn't a part of that, but my students were, and that was part of a motivation for me to get involved because I couldn't stop them from going. I'm not their parents. I'm not telling them not to leave the house. Do that. So why not, be there at least to supervise, see what's going on, see if I can help my input, and maybe me jumping into this will influence some other educators to come be involved, and we can build the infrastructure. We can get some good pedagogy going on during rehearsal, and make sure we can supervise these adults. Because once I see, I'm me personally, if I go and it hasn't happened. If I go to a rehearsal and I see something happening out loud with an adult, I'm pulling my kids out. I'm gonna call their parents. I'm telling them, hey, they can't come here no more. That's me. If I see that's out of line and it cannot be controlled. But that's also because I'm there. I can see that. I can witness that. If I'm not there, man, me personally, I look at my students as my children. I really want to protect them. I want the best for them. And I feel like if they're involved with something that they like doing, I feel like, man, at least let me get some part of involvement with it too, to supervise, make sure they're doing it the right way. That was my motivation for doing it, is to make sure it's being done the right way. And even the people that are trying to start it, like everybody's not an educator that leads that group. However, the input that I can give to them, and I'm still a young educator myself. I have a limited amount of years, but whatever mentorship I can give to the people that's trying to do good, I want to be able to do that. And I will hope some other educators that are more veteran than me will come behind once they see, okay, we got something good going on. Let's go help these young educators out, or young future educators, young students out. I think it takes somebody to take that leap in order to get it going. Justin was saying it before. He was like how it was a lot of people down there hating on it at first, but now they're getting a good product out. They got people behind it. It's going to take some people to take the heat.
Is the people who they act like they're so scared. Like I'm a teacher, and it's like we have band directors who are in our Allstar band who with their kids. So I'm a band director. I played tuba in college. My whole tuba section is here. I just don't understand how it worked or some place. I'm just trying to put it in perspective. This is y'all might maybe do a documentary on something bad for real. It's culture.
You should.
Like,
You should.
Like,
I think that's
it's like the shit that is like we can't do this wilding out. We can't do all this extra stuff in fall band. You know what I'm saying? From August to December, this is the time to release, and it is of the culture. And my biggest gripe is people be acting like they of the culture, and they just on the culture. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is, of course, you absolutely right. I'm not saying nothing you saying is wrong, because that liability is serious, and I feel like nobody should put their damn. I wouldn't put my job on the line if I didn't think that it was gonna if I'm gonna go correctly. But it's some things like you'll be surprised. There's some people who you can trust, and they still be like be hating. I don't know, but it's tough.
Hey, Justin, you just said something, and Derek as well too, and I think it's been sprinkled throughout the whole conversation. And I've been a witness to it. It works like when you can get experience, professionals mixed in with like individuals such as yourself and others that will work together and listen to each other and take the advice from each other to make it push forward. Like, for example, when I coached basketball, my assistant coach was the AAU coach in the region. So after they got done with us, they would go to him and he would work with them on XYZ fundamentals or whatever. And then when they came back to us, the collective, we had a better team every year. That's not the case with a lot of places because the communication is all broke up and people aren't working together. So I do agree. Y'all know Zach Neely out here at Columbia.
I don't.
He's doing March to Harmony. And I support that because, again, they're LLC. They give scholarships to these kids, and they've got some really old retired directors that come in and kind of give some input every so often and kind of, put their hand, on the kids in terms of musically. And I love that. I think it's a great thing. And I've told them like, hey, whenever you need me this summer, I'll be there to support, and I think that's kind of done in the way I think it's the best way moving forward. But I think too many times we don't see that, and it sounds like a lot of that, good stuff is going on. And there needs to be a documentary. There needs to be a documentary that talks about it and talks about how it's grown. Again, my time, doing that one parade that I did, it's still impressionable to me. I remember seeing a kid with a Quaker Oak box with a string and a stick marching down the street and looking like Southern University, and he was like 6 years old, 7 years old. I'm like, man, this is dope. I remember seeing the little kids march. Well, this isn't an all-star group, but St. Aug, that's there in New Orleans. Like 300 kids, and I'm just like, man, this drama is bigger than the kids, and they marching down. And I think that's great, but again, it requires communication, and people have to work together. And like everybody's mentioned, the ego piece is big. The ego piece is big, and I've seen some groups, whether it's athletically or musically, get torn apart because people can't come together. And if it's that director again on the high school level, and they send in their kids, and then they come back, and not saying it's like this everywhere, but if they're not coming back better, or they're actually, I've seen some instances where kids were fighting the director in terms of, oh, that's not how we did it this summer. Then that becomes a problem. It's like, wait a minute. And that happens athletically as well, too. The kids go off, run and gun AAU basketball, but they don't know how to set a pick or do a pick and roll where we got to do it during the season. It's like, man, what you've been doing for the last 3-4 months. So I think that's where the issue comes in, is lack of communication and then people being on the same page. I think it's cool to keep kids busy, but again, hopefully for us directors that are there throughout the fall, the spring, the winter, everything, we want these kids to come back better. And I'm sure in some areas they do, and I'm sure in some areas they don't.
I'm looking at Lawrence comment. I'm gonna let you go, Luke. About starting the 501c3. New Orleans Allstar Band, 501c3. Georgia Mass Band, 501c3. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Mississippi Mass Band and the new thing they started, Magnolia, 501c3. Like all these comments that people say, maybe if they like just look into it a little more, this is the people you know. And my thing, I took a different approach in 2018. You know what I'm saying? I got away from like playing in a band and just filming to hosting the event. So Summer Band Jam, I started that battle band in 2018, 19, and it became, so this is my third annual when I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? To actually not just to host the battle, but to like show people like this is a family friendly event. So to all you guys, shamelessly plug, June 18th in Opelousas, Louisiana, you can find it Baton Rouge. I'm having my third annual Summer Band Jam. And you're in Atlanta on June 25th. Come out and watch this monster. Not Smash Time name on it. Georgia Mass Band versus North Carolina. And we're gonna see, let me know if you see any of the everything. Come to the beginning when we tailgate, till we tailgate at our battle of bands. If y'all free July 2nd, New Orleans is battle in Georgia. It's gonna be a massacre. It's another surf that day. Come out and y'all welcome. Let me know you want a pork steak, you want a hot dog hamburger, want to be on the field. Y'all come out and let me know if y'all see any of the rah-rah, the weed smoking, you gonna see some smoking, grills and cigars from the older cats and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But like this is like the culture, what people need. Like I wrote this down. I'm gonna not do a documentary. I'm gonna do some stuff to let y'all see like the behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? But y'all welcome to people practices. For anybody who's listening and watching this, and I'm gonna try to get them directors on here, but it's everything that you say goes wrong. I think y'all will be more surprised at the more right that goes along with it. I'm sitting next to somebody that's 60, beating the bass drum, like he got a heart attack in the midnight, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that homie's still going, it's a culture of it, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all got insurance? Y'all got insurance for that 60-year-old
man? We got insurance. We got insurance on
y'all got insurance.
Yeah, you got insurance, man. It's ain't crazy. But like, for the ones that 501c3, I know they do, but like, come on, man. I get what y'all saying, bro. I just think it's one of them things that everybody who has something to say, come to. I encourage all y'all to go to one Summer Band event. They're all around the country. They're in Houston, New Orleans. I got 2 Lafayette, Atlanta, And I don't know what y'all doing in Virginia, but good luck. Y'all got the target on y'all back.
So I'm gonna
But
say
yeah,
this.
man.
Let me say this real quick, Justin, before we move on to the next topic. I actually want you to do that documentary. Do the documentary. Here's the reason why I want you to do the documentary. It's not even because you can answer a lot of the questions that people have and people can see, I guess the struggles, but going back to the actual question, it will also give people a blueprint of what they should do in the other regions. See, and it goes back to what I said earlier. You speak very positively about your program, and that's what you see happening in your program, right? But those who are not a part of your program, who are in different areas and different regions, who are seeing those negatives, they're experiencing something different. And maybe your program should be the blueprint on how every program should work. So I'm actually going to challenge you to do the documentary. See, I didn't challenge you twice.
Nah, do that shit.
I didn't challenge you twice. I didn't challenge you to get your music degree. Now I'm challenging you to do the documentary.
Man, that music degree shit, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Keep that same energy for the
Hey,
culture. Keep that same energy, though.
Is that the problem is my timing? Like I'm gonna have to take off something, so he's gonna be Mardi Gras football season.
When you do that,
That's
you find me a
investment.
nice online program to go
But,
to.
hey,
I'll consider, huh?
But look, that's investment for your future kids that you about to have.
Oh no,
You
my
won't
kids,
ever
good. They
right,
good.
but
Great.
all right.
hey, I'll hire you.
Right.
It's not a band. It's not a band in the state of Louisiana that they got open that they haven't even asked me to be a band director. I'm like, damn, like y'all, they just know I'll be a band director. They're gonna hire me a nice assistant. I'm gonna do band director work, paperwork.
But here's the thing.
Stuff like that.
Here's the thing. I learned more about being a band director going somewhere different than where I'm from.
Preach. That's why they encourage, if you went to an HBCU, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of directors say if you went to an HBCU for undergrad, not saying you can't do that for your master's degree, but they encourage you, go somewhere different.
It's
Go
different.
somewhere different so you can see a successful group, but do it a different way than maybe what you're used to. So that's why you'll see a lot of individuals go from, HBCU for their bachelor's and then a different for their master's. But yeah, go somewhere different because again, as we talked about regional stuff, there's definitely some different things regional that, like for example, for my directors that are in Texas, you have to go to festival or assessment, or you won't be a band director. But it's not like that in other states, So that's just one example of the difference of where you would be regional.
To the point to add to that, they're pushing it now to where if you don't go to festival or UIL, you may not get your stipend.
Yep. Because if you read your contract, and most contracts in the state of Texas, especially, you have to go there to get your stipend.
That's crazy. Look at this comment. That's crazy. He bought somebody all the way from Florida to from Mississippi Allstar Band, and he was more comfortable with the Mississippi Allstar Band. I don't know, man. I just think it's one of them things like only people we fuss with is our people, and that's the part that disappoints me a lot. It also disappoints me is that like some of those things of the glazing incidents, that's still I'm over here like niggas dudes really glazing high school students in the summertime before they come there. It's a thing. It obviously wouldn't be a thing. Like I would have checked them so hard, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, bro. Like, and then the big glazers be the one who be garbage can, garbage juice.
Say that again, Justin. Say that again, Justin.
They be garbage can. I'm talking like they be the ones who barely made it themselves. But you want glaze a high school kid who come to Allstar, man? Like I don't know, bro. That's the things that I think that it's almost like band is a sport. It is. Same way your coach fuss at you, I'm not a director. I'm not even I'm gonna start associating myself. I'm from New Orleans with New Orleans Allstar Band, but I'm not on their staff. I'm just smashed the person of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like I would check you. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. But I feel you, man. I feel you. It's just I can't get people who understand it who don't understand it, and I can't tell y'all opinion is wrong if y'all seen it. I can just show you that it's not a way. And y'all just think about that. As you said, Luke, to document how we do ours, the way we do ours, but also there's gonna be so many excuses with that. That's New Orleans. They were born with a horn in their hand. This, that, and the third. They just value stuff a little different. I feel like that's BS. I feel like if you gonna do this All-Star Band stuff, bro, like you shouldn't be anybody, or you should have some type of following. Like my man right here, Derek, I don't know him from Adam and Eve, you know what I'm saying? But I know I got somebody from Southern on that damn staff. So I expect it to sound like something. You know what I'm saying? I expect it to be of the culture. I don't want it watered down, and I want it from whatever y'all want it to be. But I also expect y'all to protect them kids and get support from the local band. You're a band director yourself, you know what I'm saying? So you have a name to oppose. So I don't know. I don't see how these problems can happen, even though they do. But us, I gotta keep saying us. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we can govern ourselves accordingly. But it's sad that y'all have instances where it didn't happen. It's terrible to me. But yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and keep it rolling, man. That one went pretty long. I ain't expected, but
Yeah.
that's all right. Portia went in her bag. That's why. All right.
Yeah.
You
You
heard
heard
what
what I said.
you heard what she said. All right, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy, man. We have been going in. Looking at somebody comment. We have been going in tonight, man. It's been a great show so far, man. So I'll go ahead and smash that like daddy. Also, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. All right. This show will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Real Talk That Talk, or you can go over to Apple Podcasts and type in Talk That Talk. All right. Okay. So once again, these are all questions that I particularly had about the mass band life. Because remember, I'm old. I accept that. It's a lot of gray in my beard, man. Yeah, come on, I see you, Chuck. You know, if you was in high school sometime in the 90s, that means we old.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Derek up here with that Nino Brown earring. All right, here we go. So let's go to this next topic that I've been wondering. So when I look at these mass bands, all-star bands, community bands, whatever they call, because I know they got a lot of different names in different areas. I want to actually shift gears to the auxiliary side, right? The reason why I want to shift gears to the auxiliary side is because if it's an all-star band, isn't it supposed to be the best of the best of the best? And sometimes I see like girls who were flag girls in other programs being dancers for these all-star bands. So I got questions for that. So are auxiliary the all-stars of mass bands? Are they really the all-stars of mass bands?
I wish I had a petty flag to give you the hang behind your band your back.
How was that petty? I'm
Hey, bro,
curious.
I
I'm
know. Listen,
curious, man.
I'm gonna say this: it's don't take the All Star so literal. Because that was the case, there's a lot of people who probably wouldn't be in these bands. You know what I'm saying? We just use All Star for the name and the mask because it's big event. It's big. It's a bunch of All Stars. But like I and I'm not gonna say your flag girl reference. I know some girls on the flag line that outdance a bunch of these girls on the regular dance team, but they probably not on the dance team simply because they're not the size or they don't meet the typical. You know what I'm saying? That's another story. We don't want to walk up that tree, but I'm pretty sure that's probably where like that stemmed from. But if they made that All Star team, yeah, they made the All Star team. You know what I'm saying? Like All Star, they have tryouts, and then maybe for what they're looking for. But I don't think it's like a set size standard or like whoever makes it make it. And they don't mean the best of the best. They might just have what that team is looking for. You know what I'm saying? Or they may some people who just starting out. They may be the only girls who came to tryouts. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's one of them the best of the best. But I know some programs like ours and regulators now, and even MAB, they have strict tryouts. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they be 50. I have some videos online. Type of New Orleans All-Star Band dance team tryouts, Florida League tryouts, and it'd be like 80 girls up in there, 80 to 100 girls. You know what I'm saying? Trying out, and they do the same thing because another thing, all of these directors who over these programs, most of them are either former HBCU dancers or sponsors. For example, Barry Coleman, who ours, he started the Digger Diamonds and he just been doing it for a long time. Danielle Stamper, she over LLI and a regulator. So like those are very credible names in the
Say,
dance community.
Justin,
Huh?
who's the regulators? Like where they from?
So regulators, regulators is all right. So basically, this what happened. LLI remember how it was all high school, and in the previous last couple of summers, they just started mixing it with like the college kids or the Southern kids just mixing in. They didn't allow that anymore. They wanted to go back to all high school to be like a after school program and just something to give private lessons like it was personally intended to be. So just the people who Brian Simmons wanted to create an All-Star band, and pretty much everybody who watched LI, they became the Regulators, and that's why they band was souped up last year. It was ridiculous. Like, yeah, so that's their new name, the Regulators. So LI is still a thing. It just, I guess, August through December and the rest of the months of the year is like private lessons and the things is a performing arts school versus them doing summer band. That's all it is.
So let me. I'm gonna and I heard your response to that. So there is an actual tryout for.
Yes.
Okay. See, I didn't see. That's why. This is why I asked these questions. You thought I was being petty. I just don't know. I really don't know. So if that is the case, should you all just drop the name All-Star then? Because we can't use the word All-Star if they're not really the All-Stars. I mean, let's be real. Like we gotta look at the words that we use. Mass band does make more sense. Community band does make more sense. Using the word All-Stars meaning you getting the best Men in Black, the best of the best of the best.
Only people who use All-Star band for real. Now that I think about it, it's crazy that but 337 use All-Star now. But New Orleans All-Star band, and our band speak for itself. We all cool. Ain't no we got Jimbo who play in the second line band who's shooting that stuff in the French Quarter. So bad. Self-explanatory. Go to anybody's school and take sections. So like All-Stars, I get it. I don't say depend on what I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna say, why y'all call yourself All-Star? Well, it's only two. If y'all not really All-Star, that's a good question. But we just a term to use All-Star, Mass. You know what I'm saying? I guess it would be Louisiana Mass Band if you put everybody together or like a big band because it's massive. But that's just a term we use, All-Star Band. You know what I'm saying? Even though it kind of is All-Star in our case, everybody covers. So yeah.
That's just like doctor, right? People just throw doctor in front of everything, and
ain't
got a degree, and that's right.
I'm gonna get an honorary doctor. I bet I do. That's one of my goals. I'm gonna get one.
I love you with my whole heart. I ain't gonna call you doctor, bro. I'm gonna be like, all right,
it's okay. It's okay. But you're not gonna be able to tell me. And these rappers getting these doctors,
they ain't a doctor. They ain't a doctor to Quano, bro.
So
I mean, that's a good question, Luke.
So still going along the lines of the whole dancer thing and the auxiliary thing. Anybody can chime in on this. I'm not directly asking it to Justin, but also along with this question, do they ever do field performances, or they're only stuck to stand performances?
They have every band I know, there's always like a segment in the battle. So normally All-Star battles happen like this. Y'all see like it'd be a field round where they get in concert formation and they battle like 4 or 5 songs on the field, and then they have a stand round. Now most times one of those song selection is geared towards the dance team to do their field show routine, and they do them like in front of the band. So I'm gonna say every All-Star band do it, and most times it happens like when that band plays theirs, that band gonna play theirs, so they could be like a dance around. You know what I'm saying? So they do the dance teams do field show routines to them songs. Like I Ain't Got No Business, so many of them songs. They do so many routines to them. But yeah, so they do field routines.
Derek, do you guys have auxiliary in your group?
No. But there have been like, I guess, mass groups that have tried to do this before. What usually happens is they'll try to get like a dance troupe just to come participate with them. But no, it's not. Man, look, I play instruments. Auxiliary not my forte. I leave that to the experts. So I can't even really speak on. But I'm gonna tell you no as of right now. But it's not.
Damn, bro, you messing up the night,
bro.
You really are. Now I'm gonna put on the petty hat here, brother, for a second.
I'm listening.
Portia up there.
If y'all have dancers, will they be Golden Delight or will they be Hot Ice?
Please mix them up. That's the same answer.
Look, they're gonna be whatever their instructor makes them. That's just whatever style that the instructor knows how to teach, that's going to be the style that they perform.
It's a unity thing. They can mix the styles.
Yeah, it don't gotta be a highlight. It don't gotta be a golden light. It could be hip hop. It could be contemporary. It could be whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying?
You get the praise dance team.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Y'all might need to do a flag team for real. The whole flag team y'all gonna use.
Well, see that I was gonna ask that question.
State flag team and that's
hey, don't mention that's the name that shall not be spoken around here.
They the Satin Divas.
Okay, Satin Divas. Okay, yeah.
I was gonna ask that question next, Justin. But what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah. Were you
I would add no since you want to know I said what flag team y'all gonna use because you got some good out there. Huh?
So wait. So I didn't know this. So All-Star Bands, mass bands have flag groups?
We have, Quan, you can attest, color guards, and it's a different culture. Majorette, they twirl two batons, like everybody.
Yeah, I know that in New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, we do it, but I never seen nobody else do flags in the summertime.
Okay.
Now, if you go to Chicago, they have a lot of teams that do, like South Shore Drill Team and stuff like that. Like they'll have like 30 and 40, people carrying flags, twirling flags up and down the street with people flipping down the street and doing all type of stuff. So it does happen. I guess it's just a regional thing.
Yeah, I know.
I would be okay with them finding dancers. I'm not.
Be okay with them finding flags?
Hey, Derek, y'all should have a guard like the Spartan guard.
Hey,
like
you beat me to my question. Sorry, are y'all gonna have Spartan guards or no?
I would love to see.
They don't even have dancers at this point.
Right,
okay,
right.
So we just gonna leave them alone.
We're still a mustard seed right now.
Okay?
We still a mustard seed. We haven't blossomed.
Hey, anything I can do to help y'all, just let me know. I don't know what it is, but I want to see y'all be successful, and I want y'all to have a product that's good.
We're gonna bring out the sword and everything. Helmet.
We do have community groups, but they are school age for the most part. That do that like I know you was in Virginia for a while. I don't know if you remember the name New Generation. That was a small community group. They did flags, dances, majorettes, drumline, all that type of stuff. So those groups are smaller groups around it that do the auxiliary units like that. But these are school age children. It's not adults doing it or college students. So different aspect. Now you're talking about the Virginia group. Like I said, it's brick by brick, man. Brick by brick. All right, let's get off the ground first. Then we'll add some more bricks on it.
Crank up, man. Crank up.
All right, I'm gonna leave Derek alone. All right, I'm gonna get back to the auxiliary question. So our auxiliary, the all-stars of the mass band. Anybody else want to chime in on that before I get to the next?
Nah, Portia got us in check.
I mean, I don't have nothing to say about this whole damn topic. I'm good over here. They have auditions and stuff like that, but
they actually good. They are, and most times like these auxiliary dancers that dance in the sometimes either former college dancers or they go off to be the captains of some of these teams. So that's self-explanatory. Yeah, so they be cool. That's a whole different culture in itself.
All right. Well, then let me finish this with one final question that ties into all this, and it could be, the whole gambit, but just auxiliary specifically. Do those young ladies pay for those uniforms and blah blah blah? Like they pay the money to get those uniforms and keep them and all that kind of stuff? Just out of curiosity, so they pay for their jazz shoes and stockings and all that kind of stuff.
They have a budget. Well, I can speak about it. They have a budget that they pay, and that's explained at the trial. Sometimes I think they hand out like when you walk in the tryouts, like this is everything that we would need for this trial. If you don't have such and such, you can't make these such and such practices. Don't even worry about it. It's a whole they take that. I ain't say more serious than band, but just as serious than band. So yeah, I know they have a budget that they pay, and I do think they get to keep the uniform. I don't know if they get to keep, but I know they have them 5 uniforms. Yeah.
So, see, and I guess for me that just kind of raised as a being a high school band director and a university band director, blah blah blah, right? If I have a student who is a high school dancer and I know the fees that high school dancers have to pay, and they doing the summer daddy too, and they coming back into my high school again.
You want to dance, you're gonna pay it. Another thing too, I want to say this. I started a dance team last year, Smash Squad. I looked them up on YouTube. I learned that like a lot of them high school fees be BS. Like those budgets be BS. Like I think some of them too high compared to like, you know, just me getting a chance to see that world on my own and like we have some legit uniforms and buy them from people that make these college uniforms. A lot of them high school budgets be overpriced for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think that me personally. So that's just my 2 cents inside of what as for the dance uniform because I have a team myself. So yeah.
Yeah, I was me personally. I think a dancer should only pay for the stuff that they can't reuse for other members. Like a costume can be passed along, you know, throughout the years, which I know it has before.
She unmiked it. She unmiked it, Jim.
I know she better come, but stocking shoes and all that stuff, you gotta buy that yourself. You know, that's yours. Like you take it home with you when you go home. Can't nobody else put your stockings on. You know, ain't nobody else gonna wear your dance shoes. Why not buy it yourself? You know, I think you pay for it in high school and college. You pay for your shoes, right? No. Snap. Look. What's up, Portia? Speak your mind. I'm listening.
Everybody's body can't be in everything. I mean, that's just not a thing. I completely disagree with that.
About the costumes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you think they should pay for their costumes too?
Yes, like so it's yours. That's your stank. Okay. That's your body. That's your parts in that uniform.
Hey, look, they left me out here to the prime right now.
Hold on. Colleges recycle uniforms. They get them remade. So like I know a lot of college dance teams that like use the same uniforms. How you feel about that on the college level?
I think it's gross.
Okay, cool. I would just make sure you had the same energy as the last one. All right.
I mean, I understand that a little bit more, but you out here,
girl, let me borrow your time.
You have ties to that university. You don't bring that back, they'll hold your degree. You purchasing this for mass band, and she run off with it. Now we wasting money. No, I still let me explain something to you. When I came to the Legion 06. Uniform 111 was brand new. We got new uniforms that year, and I was the only body that ever had to wear it. I have OCD, so I'm not down for sharing nothing, especially where my parts go. No, I'm good. Thanks.
You can band, huh? Yeah, I blame you. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I would say college director. I mean, college team definitely say uniforms. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like on these shows, look what happened with Bethune Cookman. No girl couldn't fit the uniform. Remember?
Well, you don't want to get me started on that because they knew what she had, what they had before she showed up there. Yep. So it was a disservice for them to audition her knowing they didn't have a uniform for her. That was a failure on the part of that university and that program. But
when I first watched that, I was watching it with my wife, which is new to the whole band culture, and I was like, I hope they have a uniform for everybody. That's like the first thing I said. So I knew it was going to be an issue because I've been there before. And that's not a problem that you want.
And I will tell you this, back during my days of marching with the Legion, Inez Howard would either lose that weight, she gonna pull out, yes sir, she gonna pull
or you will not go on the field.
You gonna lose that weight, or it's tight for you. I remember my rookie sister, she made the line. But they
used to be running around with them sweatsuits on, full sweatsuits, from head to toe.
University,
like boxers.
Until she got into that uniform. Inez wasn't buying no new. I'll tell you that. I'm sorry.
Hey, Julia,
dance, baby, but you can't fit nothing I have for hot ice. Come back next year after you lost some pounds,
bro.
You know nowadays you can't do that though. Just for the record.
Right.
No, it was a different time. It was a different time.
Julia, I got a quick question right quick since y'all talking about uniforms. Did y'all ever have an issue that somebody couldn't fit one of them helmets?
No.
No,
Okay, all right.
Does it-
I always wanted that.
So let me give you the inside of the helmet.
it's
Yeah,
adjustable.
it's a one size fit all. Inside it got this little black joint, and you can just
Yeah.
adjust it.
But
That's
It's
come on now,
large.
you always got somebody that
yeah.
maybe they took the inside
That's
out.
one
Oh,
of
you
them right
said
now.
that's your- Oh,
For the record, this is from my high school. Don't it's not a Legion one.
Oh, you ain't said nothing but a word. Hold up.
Yeah, from my high school.
Now see now we going into Legion stuff here. So now I'm gonna tell you this. I know so many people who have a Legion uniform, and the only thing I got is chain. That's all I got is my old chains.
Hey, but I want to clear my name first. Okay,
These the original silk hat helmets, okay?
Portia, you gonna put it on for us?
All out there stealing.
Okay.
Not with her new fresh wig on.
Right, I was gonna say, be careful here.
Y'all should do it again where y'all wear the old ones again. I ordered some old ones. How much they run? Like $50 for it?
There's something around that.
There you go.
That'd be fine. You bring the old ones back.
No,
Hey, y'all used to do that.
either that
Alumni
or
band
bring
at
the
Norfolk.
hats.
At Norfolk for alumni for homecoming, didn't they wear uniforms, the older uniforms, a few years? Like in the early 90s or something?
Oh, that was before my time.
That's what I'm saying. I remember seeing a video of that, like at homecoming, that the alumni band. Because when Dr. Pierce was the band director, and they were in full uniform, and I was like, man, that's crazy.
I don't think nobody want to put on them old uniforms though.
Right.
Hold on, which old uniform?
None of them. They smell like foot.
Well, I mean, they stink, but I'm just saying.
I'm talking about the overlay ones. You know,
Right, it had the little ruffle joints. It had the little ruffle joints.
Oh, you talking about the chains?
I love my chain uniform. I didn't want them new uniforms.
I thought the chains was dope.
I love my chain. Were hard. The chain were hard.
I hated having to put them on,
Hey.
but I loved them.
So you see everybody like from the South, like we don't even know what you talking about, bro.
When Julian first got to the Legion, and for a long time they had chains that went down the uniform.
They had accessories,
military style. And then when my rookie year, we changed uniforms and it had like an overlay, so they didn't have to change no more. Now them chains, they look nice, but it was a hassle,
bro.
From what I'm told.
All we know is one big letter in the front with a cape. Pull your spacos up. Let me see your space. You know what I'm saying? That's the shoulder cord. That's about it. And then if you was real fancy, you had
the Storm got fancy stuff now. It's whole damn storms on there and shit. I was like, what is this? This is fancy.
Let me tell you.
I was at PV the night they opened them uniforms.
Let me tell you how difficult old Legion uniform used to be. I'm gonna go ahead and just break it down to you really quickly, and then we're gonna move on because we got to get to this last topic. The old Legion uniform was the most difficult uniform I had ever put on in my life. This is why. It opened up.
I didn't see this uniform. What year this was?
I don't even. It's very rare that you find an old picture like that.
Look at the Howard versus Nova State trumpet battle, and you'll see.
Yeah. So it opens up, and then you flap it over, and then there was some buttons on the side. So then you had to hit them side button daddies. Then you had to put the flap over your shoulder like that, and then put them buttons on there. Then you had to put the cape daddy on, and then you had to put your shoulder joints on. Then there was a belt that came with it. So you had to wrap the belt daddy around and lock that in. Now, here was the hard part. You had to get your 4 chains. All 4 chains had to be the right size going down. You couldn't have one chain that was all the way connected to another. You had to have them even across. So if your chains were too short, then what you had to do is you had to go to the uniform person, and they pull out this long rope, and then they measure you, and then they cut the chain off, and then you had to clip it in. That was one chain. Then you got to do all 4. Let me tell you, do you know how many times we marched down the street and it was like 12, 14, 13, 20 people running down because they couldn't get their chains on to the last minute, and they finally got them on? Bruh, we never marched out.
At that time, the Legion was so anal about every detail. Like somebody said something about hair and a helmet. We didn't play that. You showed up to that joint and your hair touched that uniform. It was curtains for you that day. Okay. It's not a game. And
That's old school.
We operated where if whatever, we never went outside without a full uniform on. You carried your helmet like this, not upside down, not to the side. You had to look. I'm talking about if you were in that band, you showed up wherever it was, pep rally, whatever, a certain way. And so it was tight on you.
And when you took
you wasn't going down that
uniform
street
off, it had to be on a hanger, daddy. You had to hang it up the right way. It wasn't no just throw it on the seat and it'd be out. No. You got to put every single piece in the right place. And bruh,
y'all look good though.
And I'm gonna tell you one thing that's been adjustment for me is that I've always, your hair done, it should be done. Like my mama raised me like that. And you could have on that scarf on that bus.
Take it off.
But when you step off, I don't care what's going on with it under here. There is no scarf to appear anywhere outside of a bus or a hotel. When we went to Houston, Lord,
he was like that too, though. Like
he had his damn bonnet on. You not going to sleep. We going into the
Hey, look, y'all got a season, y'all, Crystal. Portia, when y'all walked in, y'all was like, y'all got everybody's attention. Maybe because it's like nobody never seen Norfolk. That's what it is. Y'all clowns, like people don't hear about Norfolk, but they never see him. So when y'all walked in there, it was like, there you go. And then,
I ain't gonna much lie. The way y'all carried yourself, I first saw Norfolk. We're talking 07 for that Honda, bruh. When MD stand to the side, of course the box was like, yeah, we the box, whatever. And when my best friend Donovan walked up to like whoever that section leader was and was like, hey bro, what's up? Like, we gonna chop it up or what? The dude looked at him like he was small, like damn, like why you even over here? Ain't you supposed to be locked up? Like, and then when y'all hit that field, I was like,
that's what you're supposed to do. That's period. As soon as you to a Legion conversation, as soon as you step out, your hat better be like this.
Yeah, bro. I'm talking about mug on, like it was like it was real, bro.
Crazy? Look, we almost got into a fight because the closest thing I think to us at that time, as far as twirling style, everything is Bethune. So they was standing in front of us, and they was like, "Hey y'all, how y'all doing?" Da 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 da. We was like,
"What that was it? What, at National Veteran?"
At Honda, when we was all out there, and we was preparing for this little mass band thing, and we was locked up, and they was like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" Da 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 da. My section was
like, that first year, y'all had a chip on your shoulder. That first year, they had a chip on their shoulder.
That wasn't a chip. That's how we were. If we were not out of attention, there was no talking. I don't care who it is.
Don't say nothing.
Anybody can get it. That's what it was. And she was like, "Hey, what's wrong with y'all?" And my section leader was like, "Back up. They good. They know what to do. Go." And
hey, bro, we was in the back when y'all opened up that show, nigga. We said, "God damn!" And then all of a sudden, it was like, we gotta go behind that shit. All right, y'all, get your shit ready. Like he was 07.
07.
I was a crap. As a matter of fact, I had crossed into the box right after that.
Man,
I was like, God damn, them doors blowing. I'm talking. They hit that line straight, east and west show. I said, and then we saw the DZAC trumpets. It was like, yeah, bro.
Now we did have a chip on our shoulder, though. I will say this. They was talking junk to us at the little banquet, talking about, y'all only here because fam ain't here and da 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 da. And at that time, that was the real raw and uncut me. I can't even repeat what I said to that girl.
What fam was that a year though?
No, Bethune was that a year.
No, it was Bethune that was there that year.
Yeah.
What you told the
family was that year.
I can't repeat what I said. Y'all don't know that person. She don't exist no more. But
God is dope.
Right, because God got me. God is dope. But I'm telling you, like, it was people talking cash junk to us. Like, y'all don't deserve to be here. All right,
It
but
was
see,
it
we
was some hate on
wasn't.
that field. It was some hate on that field when we did that
It
mass band. I
was,
remember.
and, you know,
We was
I
by
didn't
that trumpet
say
section, and we was like, okay. And
we
everybody was
didn't, but
saying to
I
us,
didn't say anything to her about the show. What I said to her was, "You better back up," and it was some expletives because she was kind of close to me. But we ended with, "We'll see what we talking about tomorrow," because that was our mentality. All that, show and proof.
well, this gives me more reason to want to go ahead and have that Norfolk show. All right, man. Let's go ahead and do this last topic, man. I did I already do the everything else? Did I do it? No. All right. Well, let me just do it anyway. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, obviously Norfolk State, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like button. Smash
That's
that
fine
like.
for y'all to add Norfolk in here because y'all Norfolk people. So
I mean, not all of us though. Not all of us.
The show ran by y'all, so like that's always promotion. I would definitely throw Norfolk in every situation.
Quan ain't Norfolk.
I'm just saying.
Maya ain't Norfolk.
Who run the show? Exactly.
That ain't got nothing to do with it, man.
But he did work for PV too, though. So
facts. And I got a lot of love for PV.
They left us and went and got the check. Hell, that's PV in the background.
Oh, yeah, it is. You talking about right here. Okay. Yeah, that's the new stadium. You're absolutely right. All right. See, yeah, I was all off. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionist Network and turn on notifications, man. This episode will be up tomorrow on all your podcast networks. Just type in Real Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you type in Talk That Talk. This is the last topic, so I will be putting a link inside of the chat so you can come in and chop it up with us. All right. Last topic. In the end, what is the goal for a mass band? In the end, what is the goal for a mass band? Quan, you got it first, bro.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. And I think overall, from just my opinion, I think the purpose of mass band should be to teach proper pedagogy, or the continuation of teaching proper pedagogy. It should be keeping the kids doing something positive over the summer. We all know, not just for specifically inner city students, but it's so much to get into. Idle time is the devil's workplace. So we know that that's something positive that the kids can do, and also give them experiences that's outside of high school, to travel to see different things outside of the state that they may have not been privy to prior to. I think that's the overall positive aspect, but to get to stay on your horn as well. I know we spoke about some negative things, or I'm not gonna just say negative, but some realistic things that as educators we think about when we send our students to mass band. But I do believe that there are some positive aspects to mass band. To Justin's point, I think the difference is the program that he's thriving with and that he promotes and sees may be the standard. Again, we cannot speak generally for every program, because then that would be wrong on our part, just diminishing all of the other programs. However, from an eyewitness of the eyewitness, we know that New Orleans All-Star Band is doing something good, right? However, these other programs, honestly, I think that documentary is needed. We need to see what's going on in these programs overall. I think, honestly, from a better marketing point of view, I think mass bands can do better. I think, honestly, to bridge the gap, if you want those kids, some of those directors do need to go sit into some of those band halls with those band directors and be like, hey, bro, like, I know you may have this wrong stigma, but let's do this. Do you mind if I run your band practice? And honestly, if that was me, and this is Quan, the type of person that Quan is, if I was on that band staff, I would go to a high school, run that a rehearsal, and then sit down with the band director and be like, hey, give me your thoughts about whatever. What are some things do you think I can improve on? And then build that rapport with that teacher and be like, hey, you've been teaching longer than me. Because if Chuck came in my class, I'm gonna sit down and be quiet. And then I'm gonna teach, and then I'm gonna ask Chuck, "Hey, what do you think? Some things that I can improve on as well." And I think honestly, from that sense of amnesty and being amicable with one another, that could be bigger than what it is. Because at the end of the day, you're winning my trust as a director for me to send my kids to you, as well as go to some of these fine arts directors. Honestly, win them over. So then you will also have facilities, and that you don't have to unfortunately practice, like you say, in the park, like Justin says, and how some of these other band programs as well. And honestly, build that rapport, so where it's like, if a person says, well, I'm working at XYZ high school, hey, this is the area facility that you can work at. We have parents that are going to support it. Make sure that the school is not destroyed. And I think everybody can be happy. I do think we need to go back to specifically high school and then alumni. I think because it cut down some of the things that what we spoke about earlier. But it also gives a different approach as well. To teaching and pedagogy as well. And I think all of the band directors could come together, eventually, if they want to do some drilling, do drill. If not, do some concert pieces as well as marching pieces. I think honestly, for me, I would like to see if outside of Barnum and Bailey and Purple Carnival, what if some of these high school all-star bands were playing marches? Or what if they were learning the stars technique on how to sight read? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they bring that back to those schools. So I think mass band truly has some positive aspects to it. Absolutely. I think we need to honestly upgrade it to the 21st century, and then continue pushing the culture forward.
Okay. Bet. Justin, in the end, what is the goal for mass band?
I think the goal, every band had their own goal. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you what Houston's goal is for this year. I pretty think everybody's goal is to be better than the last band they had, of course, but I think as an overall synopsis, like to keep the culture going. You know what I'm saying? Summer band is not fall band at all. You know what I'm saying? It's made that way. It's like you stump the yard, that stump the yard like with the little dance movie, the underground movie, with Marcus Houston them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the culture, backyard fights, you know what I'm saying? But control. You know what I'm saying? So keep the culture going forward, rep your city and teach, believe it or not, some band teaches pride. You know what I'm saying? You want to rep your city, you want to tell people why your all-star band is the best. It's also to unify people because we have kids, adults, college band members from different schools get a chance to play with each other. You know what I'm saying? They look forward to it. So I think every All Star band have their own goal, but I just think to keep this culture and this thing that we started alive and to keep the interest of it up. Because you'll be a fool if you think that people don't look forward to All Star Band. People really say in the fall, I can't wait to All Star Band. I can't wait to All Star because All Star is that release that you can't do in your fall band, whether that be high school or college. You know what I'm saying? It's raw, uncut, grimy. You know what I'm saying? But it's controlled. If I just forgot. I'm gonna send you the link to your DM, and I want you to share with them. My partner May just shot an All Star Band movie, and it's basically when you look at it, you would think like some scenes you think it's a fight going on, but it's literally I'm fussing at you because your band sucks. You know what I'm saying? We y'all trash. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at it like they about to throw hands, but no, we about to get back in our formation and we about to play. You know what I'm saying? And show you why your band sucks or my band better than yours. So it's all culture. And if you don't understand culture and why you rep your hood or why Detroit think they the best or why Atlanta think they the best, then it's all culture and keeping this thing alive as black people coming together to do something positive and beating the odds. You know what I'm saying? We have more unity and more control over these youth and young people than the cities have over them. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many things you can say. Depends on what your goal is, but I know for us in New Orleans All Star Band and us like down south, we have different goals and every year, but it's all about the culture, keeping what we started going. So yeah, that's my spiel.
I know this is off topic. Go on. Ain't y'all out of school?
No. Last day of school is June 9th. Graduation is June 12th.
Smith's daddy. Sorry about that. I thought y'all out of school. All right, Derek. What is the end goal? What is the goal for mass band?
Yeah. like I said, I agree with Justin. You can't really narrow it down to one thing because every ensemble is has different goals. I like I said, I've played in a few different all-star bands. Some of them was just just to have fun, let loose, crank up. I mean, that was literally the goal. It wasn't no, you know, let's teach these musicians how to improve themselves, and it wasn't that. It was like get your horn and let's just go for the gusto. That's how some of the groups are. They're recreational. They're there to have fun. Um, you know, but I can speak about the ensemble that I've put myself apart with. Um, you know, trying to promote the band world in our community. Where I'm from, like this part of Virginia, the band scene's falling off. At a point in time, every high school band was 200 members deep. That doesn't exist anymore because it's not popular. It's not cool. It's not being promoted to the small kids, so that when they come to the level that they're able to pick up these instruments, they're motivated to do so. So stuff like that. It's a community outreach. Helping these young student musicians grow. What else? And again, keep. Yeah, I don't want to. That's a cop out saying keep them out the streets, but it is keeping some of these kids out the streets. I know some of these kids, and when they be out there in that park in the middle of the heat playing for 4 hours, they get back home, go to sleep. They don't. I know what they used to do. So it does keep some of these kids out the street. But I really think I'm gonna sum it up to community outreach, man. It's really so we can better ourselves, better the culture, and just create an environment where band is fun. Band is something that we all want to do. Because like I said, I've only been to 2 rehearsals, so I don't want to speak like I know everything about the group, the Virginia All Stars. I don't want to say I know everything about it, but from what I've done, like I said, I went there. I had about 4 or 5 little elementary school kids come up to me and was like, "Hey, what instrument is that? How do you play that? Oh, I'm a join band just off of practicing in the park. Something small like that, man." So I think it's making a good impact, and I think that's the main goal of it. Let's promote the culture. Let's improve these students. Let's improve the musicianship of the area. Let's expose them to different things. Because somebody in the comments posted like, everybody kind of emulates Norfolk State, which is nothing wrong. Cause I think that's a perfect example to emulate. Wink, wink. But exposing them some different things. There's other ways to get the job done. Now, I'm not saying you got to take everything. You pull what you can, but it's exposing them to other stuff. You can choose what you like and what you don't like.
I have a question. I hate to go on topic. I heard you say Virginia Bank used to be the high school used to be 200 deep and things of that nature.
For sure.
I don't want like to blame, not saying blame, but like colleges have influence on where they at, and I'm standing on that. Morris Brown went down, Atlanta, FAMU, Atlanta too as well, because I got a lot of culture over there. So what happened? So I know one reason why our bands fell off here in the waters and they built it back. Katrina, self-explanatory. What was the disconnect in Virginia? Why the high school bands ain't busting like they used to be?
I won't blame that on the colleges because when Norfolk State was big, like in the 2000s, those high school groups were not 200. They were 200 in the 90s.
Norfolk ain't the only school in Virginia though.
Well, I'm talking about Hampton Roads area. So even when Hampton was bigger in the 2000s, the high schools were smaller. It was just that's a public school issue right there. That's what that is. You take music out of elementary schools. Take some of these community programs away. That's a whole nother discussion. But I wouldn't blame that on the colleges. Because even like at my school that I teach at now, I don't know. Julian, did you ever go to Norcom to help out when you were in school?
It's funny that you just asked that question because I just thought about when us as a chapter at Allstar, we used to go over to Booker T.
Yeah,
Crystal just hit it on the head. I said that on a podcast a couple weeks ago. I feel like that's a topic y'all should do. I feel like HBCUs as a whole, band programs, a lot of them take, but don't give. You know what I'm saying? Like the only time you catch some of them going on a recruitment trip in the fall is if they planned it while they traveling to a game. Why you don't send like a pep band to local high schools? You know what I'm saying? That's another story for another day.
Yeah, we do that. I'm gonna say that because I'm the pep band director at North State, and we went to several high schools and we play. We do that. The chapters they go to schools, volunteer. Kick aside TBS, they go volunteer. So we do that. It's not. That's a like I said, the reason why the size down in high school is an infrastructure thing with the public schools. I really think the biggest thing is that they took it out of elementary school, and it's hard to sell band to a middle school student who has to grow up real quick.
Get
It's
that
easier
lady who
to-
on the get that lady
but-
who was on the board from Portsmouth who went
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Oh my God!
oh
yeah.
It's the wild wild west out here right now.
I like her.
But not to get too off topic, but I guess to answer your question, how's the middle schools out there? Because that's what like Julian attest. I'm an advocate for that. I
Man,
look at the reason why Houston inner city is suffering because you don't have band directors at middle school level. Like, period.
I'm gonna speak my mind about that though. In my situation, so we have a feeder school which Ricardo used to teach at. It's Waters Middle School that feeds to my school, right? The band director that's there now doesn't relate to students. And I'm gonna tell you about the situation they're in now. That band director hasn't been there for 4 months, and they have not replaced anybody. I got students that march in my high school that's in that middle school, and I was like, so what are y'all doing band class? Sit.
So again, that's an infrastructure problem. Like we've been, and they do that specifically in black and brown areas. You know what I'm saying? Like again, we can't compare it to a situation like New Orleans because New Orleans could start a charter school tomorrow. They're gonna have a band the next day.
We suffer with the same things. Like they taking band out of the middle school. You know what I'm saying? I really literally had a talk with the principal 2 days ago. I got to start a damn middle school circuit of events to get catered to the middle school to convince the schools that middle school programs actually happen. Like that's another reason why All-Star Band. It's so many kids that come to us and play in the summertime. They don't have band the whole year. You know what I'm saying? Like it's getting bad to us. Some middle schools creating, permission slips so they can go march at other middle schools for games. You know what I'm saying? Like the roots of music. That's why a program like this happens. So it's so much things that so much reason why it's good. But that had though, I know we like the music capital and we make it look like that, but we suffering too. Like if we suffering from certain things, we just don't make it look like everybody else is because it could be way better than what it is now.
Well, let me try to segue back into what we were talking about. So, speaking about the All-Star Band, I want to add something else.
Can we stop calling it All-Star?
The Mass Band, excuse me. So, I can tell you in Virginia, the group that we have, there's actually a program that'll start in July, I believe. Like I said, I'm not the head person in charge, so I can't tell you exact details. But it's a program for young children, like I believe from 4th to 7th grade, that want to start playing instruments, don't have a program in their school. They have people that have volunteered. Because that was my first job, was teaching elementary school kids how to play trumpet. So I had like 15 kids that I was teaching them how to play trumpet. But so they're essentially doing that too. They got actual educators coming in to show these kids how to play instruments that are in between 4th and 7th grade. So that's another one of those things for community outreach. Like I said, I want y'all to get behind the Virginia group because their aspirations are really noble. They're really noble. I'm just trying to say that it may not be the best product right now, but you got to trust in it because it's for a good reason. They're trying to do good things. And like we said earlier, if you got something to say, help, because they're always welcoming to help. I would say they will not turn down no help, including myself. So, but that's my spill on it. It's for community
Can I
outreach.
say something?
Yeah.
Start an auxiliary team. They need help for the auxiliary.
The next time somebody asks you those questions that I asked you earlier, you lead with, we're starting programs to give younger students access to music. It's been taken out of middle school, so that's one of our goals. Derek, if you had led with that, I would have sat here and shut up. You hear me?
I'm getting my lecture together.
Okay. I just wanted to give you that little tidbit. You lead.
Take a note.
You lead
with
that.
Public speaking. Yeah.
Crank up.
Hey, I was gonna say that,
yeah, we want
I
to
was
crank
gonna say
up.
that. Go ahead, Dustin. You good? Now I was just gonna say that what Quan was saying and what everybody's touching on. This is year one for me in Georgia, and I've taught in several different states. And I'm gonna tell you, going on right now, we've got a FAMU alum that's hosting a clarinet camp this week. We've got another alum that's doing a lower brass camp. And this is why I can just be honest. Why you see, for example, Southwest DeKalb had 3 festival bands this year. All three of them superior rated. Stevenson, I think they had either 2 or 3, all superior rated. And this is why I can say in this area specifically, you have a high level of comprehensive programs. Not only, you know what I'm saying, marching band, concert band, and jazz, because, you know, and then we get the precision camp coming up, all camps that are like, you know, really rooted in fundamentals and not so much of like the performance aspect. We do have a performance, but it's all, you know, rooted in their fundamentals early. You know, my middle school feeder program right now, next week, I'm going to help out. They have a middle school camp that is required for in school for incoming 6th grade and 7th grade. In order to be in their band program, you have to come to that summer camp. And that's why she's pushing 40 kids to my program next year, which I'm extremely thankful and blessed for, because I know it's not like that in a lot of places, and I haven't always had that. And so, again, having those outreach and those community things, and just to kind of answer the question, I think the goal for Mass Band is to make people better. You know, make people better than what they were when they came in. You know, by all means necessary.
To give people a chance to play again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, ain't nothing wrong with it. But I think the difference, though. Go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry.
Starfinger just said he wanted to play. Ain't he in the Virginia area? Hey, is he welcome to come play with y'all, Derek?
If you got an instrument, I'm sure they won't turn them around. I'm gonna turn them away.
So. I don't think
right. But I think the difference. I think the difference, though, like for an example, like we know how big they're actually doing an and one documentary, right? Just imagine those and one players going and doing and one, and then coming in to try to play for an NBA season. There's only been a few of them that it worked. Skip Tamalu was like the only one that it worked, that he got the furthest. And it just, in terms of, you know what I'm saying, the transition. So, again, I think the goals make everybody better, but it's hard when you just got so many different opinions and different pedagogy and things like that going on. But if everybody's getting better, more opportunity for people to play their horn, then, you know, then I'm with it.
I think y'all covered what the goals are, but I just got a question. I don't know. We high step up here, and because of that, my knees is jacked. How y'all, I mean, are y'all, everybody knees good to be doing this forever, or there ain't no marching involved?
Well, see, y'all Norfolk.
I'm gonna tell you how terrible the situation is when it comes to the marching part, right? I think it may have been last year or the year before last. Whatever. I was watching a mass band battle, and you know they march in. It'd be some of them dudes just walking in the back, like talking as they walking in, like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go fuck these dog." I'm like, you're supposed to at least march in. You didn't even try to march. Y'all just go walk in with the white rag, because every brass player now got to have a little white rag in their hand.
Hey, I got something going on sale. Going on sale in 2 weeks.
Wiping their lip.
You need a rag.
They don't march. So Portia, you would actually be fine. You would be fine.
Oh, okay, because the Legion told me up, honey. I ain't got nothing for you. Okay, nothing.
Question: How when y'all march through y'all little tunnel and y'all had to do that little marching that y'all be doing like
that's
that?
That's the strut, right? That's the strut, right?
Y'all be hitting that. I know y'all don't have no cartilage left. Y'all can't.
No, I don't. Like, I really have none around my knees. The doctor is telling me, like, I normally when I had 2 surgeries, the Legion messed my feet up too, but we ain't gonna talk about that. The doctor told me that, and I had picked up some weight because I couldn't exercise, and I normally run. And he was like, "Girl, you can try it if you want to, because now my knees is just bone on bone." Yes,
my knees hurt. As a matter of fact,
I get out the bed, it's snap, crackle, pop. Okay,
yeah,
that's why I was asking. You know how much marching is involved, because I ain't got it. You know, I'd be mad having to walk from the band room to the stadium now. I don't know how the hell I did it, but I did it, you know, back then. But now I ain't got it.
Yeah, it's tight. Me and the wife, when we start bending down, picking stuff up, all you hear is cereal crunching.
Right.
Or
but it ain't no marching. You know, I can walk, so I guess it would be all right.
Oh man. Anyway, Portia, what is the goal for mass band other than marching?
I heard some good points here at the end. I still think they should be separate, but you know, if you know all us geriatric patients, not me, I have no desire to perform anymore, at all, like ever. I don't think.
Not even to show somebody how it's done right quick for homecoming.
No, for what? I got footage. I can pull it up. I don't have nothing to prove. Okay.
That practice either, like
Julian and I stuff on VHS. I stuff on VHS.
No, it's mine is. I mean, all of mine is on DVD.
Yours on DVD, Portia. Ours on VHS.
It's on VHS.
No, my high school stuff is on VHS. What were you saying, Justin? No, I'll twirl at practice and show them how to do stuff. But as far as performing in front of people, I don't ever have to do that again. I had my time, and it was a good time I had. Okay, that's it. But if I do feel like if there are adults that still want to, twirl, dance, play, hey, whatever makes you happy. Like what I've figured out from all of this stuff that has gone on, life is short. Do whatever makes you happy. But it's the kids for me, because I know where I was when I first left Norfolk State, or when I was at Norfolk State. I should not have been in nobody's band with nobody's kids. I know the type of section leader I was. They would have been glazed. Okay, we're gonna say what it is, and it is gonna be what it is. So I know I should not have been around nobody's children.
Ain't that serious? We ain't glazed. Ain't that serious?
No, I'm just saying the Portia they marched with.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to be in charge of nobody's kids, nobody's children. So
college days are swiftly past.
Okay, so I mean that was at the time. I'm a totally different person as a coordinator. I think they hear about who she was, but they don't know her at all. Like, I'll never forget last year, somebody was like, one of my girls was like, oh my God, you are completely different. Yeah, I mean,
you had that grandparent stage, when grandparents change, and then the kids come back and be like, that wasn't the person that raised me. That's where you at. You trying to get to heaven. Trying to get into heaven. That's what it is.
Maybe I am. I'm God is dope. I'm trying to get there. But I think it's some good points to it. I really do. I feel like it's giving people an outlet. It's giving people an opportunity for some growth and some exposure to the community, as Derek said. So I think it's about giving people an outlet, reaching out, passing on music as a culture. I think that's what I'm hearing. And I think that's dope. Some people would probably, if you started, they would have to be exclusive to Silks. I don't know that they could transition to doing anything else. A line, it would probably be a bunch of old Silks that would be down for the cause. And now, I'm cool with people who marched at V-State. I don't think I'm friends with nobody who marched at Hampton, but I'm friends with people who have twirled other places that would probably be down for that kind of thing. And I think that's dope. If that's what you want to do. I still have a love for it, but I don't want to do it.
Start the team, push.
No.
Right.
I ain't looking for nothing else to do. I'm in school. I work a full-time job. I'm an undergraduate advisor, and I coach the Silks. No, I'm good.
Yeah, your plate is real full.
So let me say a couple of things very quickly. So the first thing is, one, I learned something today. There was a lot of information that I just was unaware of, and now I'm made aware. Two, I kind of, and I generally don't like to do this, but I'm gonna very quickly do this because I just saw trap set players question, and I see that question brought up a lot. I'm going to say this, and this is just my anecdotal experience. By and large, I don't see 15 and 16-year-olds in community orchestras and stuff like that. Most of the people who I know who participate in those things are either college students, undergraduates, or adults, like people who, like Miss Stephanie Sanders, who continuously performs in community programs, right? So I don't really see that happening at a 14 and 15-year-old kids. So I don't know why that's typically the response for that. But I'm just saying from my anecdotal experience, that's typically what happens. It's not little kids. It's undergraduate students and adults, which an undergraduate student is an adult. So I don't know if we want to keep using that as the rebuttal for our questions as it relates to mass band.
Yeah, because in my experience, at least in Virginia, it's separate. Like if we have, Richmond Boys Choir, that's children, or it's separate ensembles. It's not a mix to this extent. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, at least not in Virginia. It is not the same thing. It is.
I'll say it's one ensemble that may be mixed, but you have to audition into it. Like the Tidewater Winds, I've had students that,
right, but that's
but they audition into it. Like they have to pass a certain proficiency to get into it, do an interview and some more stuff. So
yeah, that's tedious. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying for these other ones, Derek, besides that, I can't think of any that mixes that way.
But even
when I was in, on my bad.
No, I was just gonna say, but even in those experiences, as you just gave, Derek, they're not in mass. They may be in small pocket situations, but in mass, it's not happening like that. I mean, and when I have conversations with a lot of people, even my wife, I always say this: you always got to realize we're always speaking in general, and typically. Anyway, and typically when we're talking in general senses, we're talking about the mass. Most people always want to try to bring up the small, minute situations, right? But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about in mass. So in mass, that's not typically happening. But go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, when I was in Chicago and I played with the Chicago State Jazz Band and Community Concert Band, we were allowed to bring some of our high school students, but they had to be with us. And that was like in one ensemble. But then the wind ensemble I play in here and with Cobb, with Dr. Alfred Watkins, that's all adults. That's all adults and a lot of, a few undergrad students just to kind of fill some spots, but it's all adults in that. So it's definitely separate.
And shout out to Alfred Watkins, by the way. And then the third thing that I had to say was, Chuck, I gotta bring this up, man. For some reason, my YouTube was up today, and it just so happened to be on 2002 Norfolk State versus North Carolina A&T field show, the gospel show that y'all did.
Oh man, y'all killed us.
Oh no, we did. No, without question, we smashed. Yeah, right. But let me say this. I know
what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say. But what you say? Go ahead.
I'm not gonna talk about the big girl if that's your thinking.
No. She was actually a percussion major. She was a percussion major. Yeah, she's a percussion major. You talking about the announcer?
No, I ain't talking about the announcer.
Okay.
We need to do a show on announcers. I hate to say that, but some of this gets on my nerves. But anyway, go ahead, Julian.
As a former announcer, I'm curious about what you're saying. But anyway, let me say this.
Best announcer is TT on the mic.
We'll talk. We can talk about that. Matter of fact, I can bring her on. But let me say this. A&T, small band with a big sound, which me and Rick talk about all the time. That A&T is a completely different blue and gold marching machine than what we do today.
Yes, sir.
If anybody
in a good way,
I will listen. Hold up. Let me finish, Justin. Go back and watch that performance. A&T was blowing, bro. Like straight.
That was blowing. That was 02. Like that was Doc Hodge last year.
Bro, listen to me.
That was Doc Hodge last year. So
I was listening to that clip and I was like, God dang, these fools were blowing. Like really blowing. Like I was rather impressed, as a matter of fact. And then it made.
Where was this located? Where was this?
This was in Greensboro.
2002.
This was in Greensboro.
At game A&T.
Yeah, it was at A&T.
Yeah, but I will say this, I remember when I got to Norfolk, like that was the thing. Like we had to prepare for A&T, and I remember sitting across from y'all, but I don't remember hearing y'all because I didn't care. But when I go back and listen to it now, I'm like, man, what happened to this A&T? Like y'all was killing. Y'all was killing. Yeah, Velvet Rope, that was y'all joint. Boy, y'all
A&T has had its moments. And I can say that.
Listen,
they've had its moments.
Even
well orchestrated videos in which A&T puts together that sounds like the New York Philharmonic is not the A&T that we hear in person. Now that is not a jab at A&T, but what I'm saying is when I go back and I listen to the A&T when I was marching, when there were no doctored up videos, they was blowing.
I got a question.
All right, so go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
From 2000 to 2010, who was the best band in the MEAC? Unbiased.
2000, 2010.
North State.
2000.
Easy.
2010.
Easy.
Consecutively?
What? You said MEAC though?
Yeah.
I don't know then. Because I'm as a Norfolk person, I'm not gonna give it to Norfolk because Fam and Bethune was still part
Right, you can't not count them. Like I think Bethune-Cookman is probably one of the most consistent
Definitely
in like the
consistent.
mid 2000s to current. Like they sound good every
That's
year.
a question.
Well,
That's a
baby, I
question
can
right
pull up the videos of when they
You
pulled
just
up down the
fix your
street because they thought Dr. O'Neal Sanford was gone and got that foot to that ass. Okay.
Well, yeah,
But that was that 1 year. I agree with you on that portion. I thought that was actually trash because it was trash because all them years
that Doc was here, he didn't want no smoke.
They
but
didn't
he
ever
thought
come down, but as soon as he picked out, they was there front and center. But
it didn't matter. Foot to ass.
To answer the question, to go from that span
2000 to 2010, including the Honda show.
You said 2000?
2000
Yeah,
2010.
yeah.
You said including the Honda show?
But that's still
yes, 2010. Yeah,
it's
but I say this, like Norfolk had a tear. Like I would say, and y'all weren't bad at all in 2000, but A&T just definitely kicked y'all tail that year.
I agree.
But
that happened
like,
in 2000.
I'll say this: I was in the band at A&T from 01 to 05. So I was there when we did the gym battles, the first times we did them together, and all of those. I'd say Norfolk had a tear from like 01, to majority of that decade that you're talking about.
I agree,
and in the bleachers, because let me tell you, like, to be honest, and Julia, we share a mutual bond not only through our organizations, our fraternities, but Charles Kane, being my best man and my wedding, my best friend, he used to bring those tapes home all the time. And we just sit, like, even when y'all were talking about the coming off the bus with your hair together. I remember watching the tape where Dr. Sanford told this girl she had to put her Legion ball cap on. Mm-hmm. Right. And I remember that. And she's like, my curl's gonna fall out. He turned her around, put that hat on, and pushed her towards the cookout. I'm like, yeah. I feel like because those are old school directors. And so again, like, that time period was, I would say, I mean, you can compare it to like the golden years of hip hop. There was a lot of bands that were really good, but for me, everybody, not to go on a tangent, but everybody sounded different. Like I loved listening to Norfolk. I loved listening to FAMU. I loved listening to Cookman. Like I was just over there, like, yeah, I want to hear that. Let's go. Or I want to hear Behold. Like, because everybody sounded and looked different, and it was just good times. But like was mentioned earlier before, sometimes you close your eyes and listen, you can't tell the difference between some groups. I mean, I can as a music educator because that's what we're supposed to do, right? But there's sometimes it just kind of blends in together. In those eras, there were just so many bands that just looked and sound. I mean, you had Howard that looked and sounded different. You had Morgan that looked a little bit, looked and sounded, had their own sound. Hampton had their own sound.
I heard Morgan got Norfolk one year.
No, I don't want to hear it now. No,
I did that for real.
No,
I heard that.
No.
I heard.
Respect
where receipts at? Where receipts at? Because this could have happened in 2005 that goes down in infamy. Okay,
I love you, but I don't know what year
was Jesus roaming the earth? Was Jesus roaming the
earth?
When they came to us, I think it was 04 when they came to us. They did very well. They looked good.
I heard they got
they look good. They sound good, but they
look good and sound good, but
they got foots.
There's a difference.
Scarfinger, you said
like Nate Robinson. Remember, Nate Robinson was hanging in there for a little bit, and then.
You said Earth, Wind and Fire show 2004. I heard it was 1 year.
Yeah, they did great. Sounded great. Shout out to them.
Chris, I'm gonna tell you right now. If it ain't no footage, it didn't happen. And listen, I was there in 04. You may be talking about against A&T because there was nothing that happened. Now, don't get me wrong, Morgan. I never thought that Morgan sounded terrible.
No, they always looked and sound good.
But
and respect the Dr. Melvin and Miles. They always look and sound good.
Not
16, they got John too.
Everything. But no, just to get back to your question, Justin. No,
The
I
MEAC
can agree with you.
the
With Chuck here.
MEAC was strong at the time, and I don't
It
know.
was.
I don't know because people saying
I
consistently
disagree.
FAMU, but they went down there in 2005 and
That's 1
I
year.
disagree.
tap dance all over them at their homecoming.
I
So
disagree.
I mean, we was handing out L's. I mean, it just what it is. What it is. I
Listen,
I
don't.
didn't take no L's.
I disagree. I
You
completely
disagree
disagree.
with FAMU?
I don't. No. I don't agree that the MEAC was strong. And the reason why I say that is because I remember being bored at games.
Oh yeah.
Until A&T came, until we played Morris Brown. I wish we would have played FAM. Well, no, we played FAM when we went to them when we smashed. I wish we would have played Bethune. But other than that, I wasn't waiting
I
on
mean,
no Dale
I'm
State.
saying
I
the
wasn't
people
waiting
that
for
would
no
be in
Morgan or
consideration for this question.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know that.
Mhm.
Who? I mean,
Hey, look, I think it was
10
04.
years not long.
Yeah,
It's not long.
It's
04,
not.
05. 04 or 05, we did a fifth quarter with Dell State. And I was like, why are we here? I
Bro,
was ready to go eat.
same.
I was like, why did we come to this game? We got there late. It was nobody at the game. We stayed in the worst hotels. I ain't, trashing on the
oh no,
area,
baby,
but-
I don't know anything about that. Dr. Sanford didn't
Dr.
stay in
Sanford wasn't
anything
good
less
on
than
that.
the All-Star.
Well, see, we were
lived good.
right.
We
in
lived
Inter
good.
Julian
I don't
we
know
were in
about
that.
that.
We were in that transition. Like I was there with Doc Hodge. I was my applied instructor, longtime band director from the 70s at A&T. And then Doc Rupp, that's the current band director. We went from having a major stands presence. And our field shows, they were what they were. I'll say that. A very, very simplistic though. But then we transitioned to what you see the Blue and Gold Marching Machine is now.
Yeah.
Dr. Rupp had always wanted to kind of do those things. He would always say, why do we have to do the same thing that's already been done? Why are we 35, 45, 45, 35?
Y'all
Why
had
can't
swag.
we-
Y'all had swag like Drew.
Right. Because again, we can go back to history. A lot of it, in terms of field show presentation and things like that. I mean, there was a lot of things that were being taken from Big Ten bands that were sprinkled around the SWAC and all the other schools, and then directors moving, they're migrating to different areas, and you would see a lot of those things. So that's how we were, But with Doc Rock is a huge DCI drum and bugle corps fan, and he just loves the pageantry and the showmanship. He's like, why can't we incorporate with that what we do? And that's what you see now. And so, we definitely, I mean, when we went to FAMU, we did like a 2.5 hour, it's on YouTube, fifth quarter, with them. Nobody does that because the first 7 songs are going to be concert marches with FAMU, and that's how it was back then. They used to kick off the fifth quarter and that was the standard. And then you went into everything else. And so, I mean, we used to, blow down the band room and be outside till 2 a.m. But I remember in 2004 when that switched, when we had a noise ordinance and all sound had to cease on campus by 11:30.
When was that? Who
That
had
was in that was in 2004 for us.
At what school?
That was at A&T. We have a noise ordinance in the city of Greensboro. So when we used to come back from field rehearsal real late, then we were marching the taps through campus, and I remember I was like, man, times has changed. And so less of a bleacher presence and more of, the field show aspect. And so that's where you see that transition. But as an alum, I love it because that's our stage. Halftime is the stage. So that should be the most polished and best presentation out of anything
these people
else.
not finna agree with you on
I
that.
can hear the top 50
agree.
on the radio. I want to see what you're gonna do on the field because that's hard.
Well,
That's
yeah,
hard.
These people not finna agree with you on that. And I say yes, finna. FINNA. They not finna agree.
Oh, yeah, we ain't finna agree to that shit. I remember. Yeah.
and that's why I love Norfolk shows because Norfolk shows the way y'all used to. I in fact start my band on the field like you guys used. You guys still do, I think, where you guys start on the field because you get more field show in versus marching your band onto the field. Start in the field, you get more field show. You get more, formations and stuff like. And I do that because I've watched Norfolk do that. I'm like, I love the way they look or their formations and different things. It wasn't the same thing, and so I mean, I get it, but I'm not gonna waste energy marching on the field.
I don't really
That's
care
less
for no
time.
walk slide stuff. I like 8 to 5 marching, but
I mean,
that's
I
a
get
different
it.
story.
But they can do that because, Lord, we
Yeah.
ain't getting into this. We not
Right,
gonna
right,
agree
right,
on
right,
that.
right.
We not gonna agree
With
on
a
that.
On
with a
that note,
the
then
premier hybrid band. No.
let me get ready to close this out. If you didn't watch it at the beginning, then let's take a very quick commercial break, and we will be right back. All right, there we go. I had to get the new commercial out there, and I went ahead and did it.
That's dope, Julian.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I try. I try. Matter of fact, when I did that yesterday, in like 20 minutes. All right. Yeah, I'm really good. So whenever you're ready to do that documentary, just shoot it over to
There it
me.
is. There it is.
Pay
You
me
pro,
for it.
but
Yeah, but
stop playing, man.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't know. Yeah, it's last time we different over here. I'll figure it out.
Hey, man, it's all good. Hey, you got all right, man. Let's go ahead and get ready to shut this down, man. This has been very enlightening for me. I'm not lying to you. It has been enlightening. I've definitely learned a lot, gotten a lot of information. I'm telling you now, I'm probably still going to struggle to listen to long periods of time of mass band, but I get it now. I understand it. It makes more sense, a little bit more sense to me. So I felt like I was enlightened today. All right. Let's do it right. Dang, I forgot Quan had a tip. So let's do it right, man. Let me go from my right to my left. Chuck, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, bro?
No, man. Just want to say, hope all y'all are having a good summer so far. I know some folks are still in the classroom right now. We've been out for about a week. It's some change, thank God. But again, just good to see y'all doing some great things. And Justin, I really hope that you put this documentary together. I have an idea of something that I want to. I'll talk to you, Julian, about it. Present that will give an inside look of what everybody's doing, just so we can be a little bit more educated. Because if you don't know, you don't know, and we're all what we call creatures of habit sometimes, and so again, the more that we can kind of educate each other, on what the culture looks like to us, then I think it's going to be better all the way around. I wish there was stuff like this when I was a kid. We didn't have this stuff. We had to go see bands live and had to just run to talk to people, to ask them questions and do it for ourselves. So again, I think it's dope, and good to see everybody doing well.
Dope. Derek, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Oh yeah, man. Give these mass bands a chance, And if you got some time and you well qualified, go ahead and volunteer some. If you got some free time. I'm not saying spend, because I know me. I've been teaching all year. I'm not gonna spend my whole summer doing that. That's just me. Now I will give some time when I have it to volunteer my services. And if you have time that you may be able to volunteer at your local mass band and you're qualified, keyword qualified, go ahead and do that, man. Support these mass bands in whatever way you can, even if it's bringing a case of water to them. So just give a little support for a noble cause.
And I just want to make it very clear: nobody said that we don't support the Virginia.
I know, man. I got.
We just had questions.
Hate. Nah.
We've got questions. You got answers. All right, Justin. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Support the mass bands, man. It's our season. It's our time to shine. This is for the culture. You can find the schedule on any Instagram page. Like I said, battles all through. My battle, Summer Band Jam, between 337 and the Regulators is on June 18th, and then we got another battle with Georgia Mass Band versus North Carolina Mass Band in Atlanta on June 26th. Flyers will be all on my page on Smash Time, and man, this is a good show. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to everybody in the culture. Support your bands. And Derek, crank up, man. That's it. I got.
Appreciate it, Justin. I'm telling you right now, if Derek cranking up, all of Virginia is coming out at him. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
I think there's beauty in perspective. I definitely learned a lot tonight, but having understanding, but also being able to disagree on things is what we should be striving for as adults. And I have learned some things tonight, but what I will say is in everything, do it with decency and in order. If we're doing things for the culture, we need to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Yeah.
I encourage at least one of y'all from the Passionate Network to attend one summer band event this year, whether it be in out there in Virginia, Atlanta, or Louisiana. I encourage one of y'all to that'd be dope. For one of y'all to
I don't mind. I don't mind checking it out. I just got to make sure that my dates are good, and because I got a whole tribe over here, man. So I can't just be like, all right, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I got to talk to the wife, and then after I talk to the wife, then I got to make sure we good. And then is the family coming, or am I going by myself? And if the family coming, with them finances, so it's a big thing with me. So
that's decent and in order.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it. It's just I got to process, before it happens. So
right.
When y'all have that one in Atlanta, I'll be on a beach somewhere. I'm going on my first vacation since.
Justin, I'll be there. I'm outside of Atlanta, just outside of Atlanta, so I'm gonna come. And I'm from North Carolina, and North Carolina is my home state. I don't know what they're doing there, but I'll go and ride for the home team.
Okay, that is so. Hit me up on that's on the 26th. Just hit me up.
26th, yeah. I'll be here. We don't start our camp till a week or so after that, so we good.
Yeah,
we good.
Like I said, just if I'm updated early on dates, I see what I can work.
I'm gonna send you all the flyers to your Instagram because they got two on the 18th. New Orleans coming to Houston on the 18th too, so you might want to come see that monster. They about
matter of fact, I'll come out there on the 18th of this
month. June, yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll make sure I ain't got nothing to do on that calendar date. I will say this though. Next week we are talking to high schoolers. I'm trying to get some high schoolers in here who are going to historically Black colleges and universities, and we're going to have a conversation with them. So that's going to be on next week's episode. Also, you all know that Rick isn't here. He is off on doing his drum corps thing right now. So we want to make sure that we continue to support him. But if you do follow Rick, he recently made a post that he does need support for some of his students who are trying to get their supplies. For those of you all who don't know, drum corps is a very expensive thing. Getting all your fees and stuff like that is one thing, but then having to pay for a lot of the other things that you need while you're on the road, shoes, backpack, shirts, clothes, dot books. There's a lot of things that come into that. And so if you go to Rick's page, Ricardo Brown, be careful because his dad's name is Ricardo Brown too. So you got to make sure it's actually Rick. You will see his post, and then I'll put it up on next week's show just to make sure that I give you guys accurate information. But if you go to his post, you'll see that he has all the information up there just to send him some bread for his kids and understand he is using it for his kids. So please let's support him on that. He's doing some great work out there with the kids and just for music in general. So we want to continue to support him. All right. I have nothing else, man. This has been a great show. I can't wait to come in next week when we get to talk to some of these high school kids, man. I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, man, we will see you guys next week.